It's a good day for the Dundee treasurer. No team bus required for the 170-yard walk from Dens to Tannadice. It's Derby Day in Dundee, and it's live on the BBC. The first meeting of the season between Dundee United and Dundee. United third from bottom. The Dark Blues, with a win today, could go third top. Kick-off in just over half an hour. Good afternoon. We've all had an extra hour in bed. Some of us feel much the better for it, and looking forward, as I'm sure we all are, to the Dundee Derby this afternoon, coming up live from Tannadice. My guests in the studio this afternoon, Gordon Smith and Bobby Williamson, who I should point out is not here because of any current controversy you may be reading. Bobby agreed to do this match for us several weeks ago, but we will have a statement from the Hibs board in just a few minutes. And as always, we welcome your comments on any current football controversy, whichever one tickles your fancy. You may text us or email us. You know how to do it by now. Get in touch. But the Tannadice match is the focus of our attention this afternoon, so as always, let's kick off by heading north and getting the team news from our commentary team, Rob McLean and Sandy Clark.
Thanks, Dougie. Not quite sex in the city, but the earth has been known to move, they say, in these parts when these two come together, if that be the inappropriate phrase, Sandy. It's intriguing, isn't it, this one?
It is. I've seen a few of the games over the last 2 or 3 years, Rob. They've been great games. The fans thoroughly get involved in the occasion, and normally there's goals scored in the match, and it's a real competitive game, which you expect in a derby.
OK, what you want is the teams, so here they are. Firstly, Dundee United injured Charlie Miller hasn't made it for the home team, so Ian McCall says same again to the side which won at Aberdeen last weekend. No Tony Bullock, no Scott Patterson. Much has been made of the 11 signings made since Eddie Thompson hired McCall, but only 4 of them feature in this starting lineup. One of them is former Kilmarnock defender Chris Innes.
The big centre-back is the most experienced of the United defenders. When you look at the quality of the Dundee front players, the ex-Killie man will have to take responsibility and organise his defence to try and limit the amount of chances to their opponents today.
Notable by his absence from this Dundee lineup is playmaker Georgi Nemzadze. The Georgian's knee injury rules him out. Craig Burley starts on the bench. Gary Brady is brought into a Dundee midfield in which Scottish international Gavin Rae will have added responsibility. And it's a first Dundee derby for former Italian international striker Fabrizio Ravanelli. No Lovell, Milne, Cowan, Sancho, Carranza or Hutchison, but there's always a Barry Smith.
Yeah, you're right, Rob. The Dundee captain is Mr. Reliable for Jim Duffy. He's played as a full-back, a centre-back and in midfield already this season. An automatic selection for Dundee simply because you know he will do whatever job he's asked of him with spirit and enthusiasm.
Are you his agent or something?
No, I think he's a good player, Mr. Reliable.
He always gives his best, as Barry Smith. It should be good. Dundee against Dundee United, and looking forward to hearing what Bobby has to say later on. It's always good to hear from him, Dougie, even after the rant he had at me down the phone yesterday morning. Happy Christmas.
A rant from Bobby? Never. He's just in a coughing fit at the moment. I don't know whether that's got anything to do with anything, but let's talk about firstly the two-team lineups this afternoon. Gordon, what do you make of the fact no Nemzadze for Dundee? He's obviously a problem.
Yeah, they'll miss him. I fancied they would actually play Craig Burley when Nemzadze wasn't there, just in order to go in and maybe sit as a playmaker, spray the ball about, but he's going with people obviously who've played before. Brady's come in the side. I think Barry Smith will have the sitting role in order to allow Caballero to go and attack. So they're all missing Nemzadze. Definitely, when he's on his game, one of the best players in Scottish football. Yeah, looking at past form, Bobby, or recent form, even the league table, you'd fancy Dundee, I think, wouldn't you?
You can't call them in derby matches. You don't know how they're going to pan out. Excuse me. But Dundee are a very strong team. Nemzadze's a big player for them. He's missing, obviously, but they've got players in there that are very capable of getting the result they need.
Right, and Ian McCall beginning to settle down at United, the beginning that seems to turn in the results he's looking for?
Yeah, he's looking for performances and results, most importantly. And I'm sure he'll get it right, given time. He's brought a lot of players in there, and it takes a bit of time for them to gel. And once they do get it together, then they'll be a force.
All right, well, more on that Dundee derby coming up in a moment. But our big live matches, of course, the Dundee derby at Tannadice, United against Dundee, and the Arabs are certainly looking forward to it. They're actually unbeaten in their last 4 home derby matches. Is that going to be significant? Let's hear from the manager, Ian McCall.
Ian, this will be a big measure for you of how much progress you've made, or otherwise, I suppose, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a very hard game because up until yesterday, obviously, Dundee were third in the league, and they're on merit. I don't think league positions lie, so it'll be a very tough game for us, but we've picked up, and it's certainly a game we can win.
It's great, isn't it, we can concentrate on the football in Dundee rather than the boardrooms, because I think that's what's been, over the last few years, has been making the headlines in this city.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've got to say, if I can get this club the way I want it to go, and I'm sure I can, Some other people might not be, but myself, the chairman and the players are sure we can. You know, and Dundee are doing well up the road. It can only be good for Tayside. The two teams doing really well. Hopefully we'll be doing better than them, might you?
Ravanelli, I think, is going to start for Dundee. Are you quivering in your boots about his reputation?
Fabrizio? Well, it's obviously, I mean, I've watched him many times on TV, and he was an outstanding player. Whether he remains that same player, who knows, time will tell. But he's obviously still one thing that the Derby atmosphere won't face him, because he's played in a little bit bigger games than this.
Key players for you today?
Well, those two centre backs, Alan Archibald in particular, he must be on the verge of a Scotland call-up for the future team or something, because I've not seen a better left-sided centre-back, and since Chris Innes came in, they've defended very well. And I think Billy Dodds in a big game like this has shown over the years that he can produce, and fingers crossed he'll produce.
You know my forecast abilities, but I'm expecting a quality football match. Will I get it?
Well, I'd like to have a quality football match, but if we win 1-0, I'm not particularly caring, and that's terrible because we are there to entertain, but it is a vital game for Dundee United at this stage.
Thanks, Ian.
Cheers, Jim.
He did say Jim.
Cheers, Jim. More from Jim Young later. Let's pick out a couple of key players for you then, and firstly for United, Andy McLaren. Bobby, you're a fan, I think, aren't you?
Yeah, he's a top player, Andy. In the big games, the live TV games, he's right up for it. And he right foot, left foot, good in the air. He's a quality player, Andy.
30 years old now. He seems to have been around for a long time, but there's still 3 or 4 good years in him, I would imagine.
Yeah, definitely. He's got more grey hairs than Ravanelli, to be fair, but...
Was that working with you, Bobby?
I might have done it. I might have made him that way. But no, he's a quality act, and he's a great guy to work with. He scores his fair share of goals, and what he creates and troubles defenders. He's a hard player to play against because he can go right, he can go left, and he's got a quality pass as well, and he can finish.
He'll be a big man this afternoon for United, one assumes, but then again so will Nacho Novo for Dundee, who's been one of the, I suppose, best scoring exploits of the season so far, hasn't he, Gordon?
He has, and I think there are better players in the Dundee side ability-wise, but if you look at effectiveness, then you have to look at a player who scored 11 goals in 13 games and say he's the biggest threat to Dundee United today. I mean, other people will probably be laying on the goals for him, but he's the one that gets on the end of things just now. He's very pacey. As this goal last week showed, that he gets in the right position, he likes to get in behind defenders, made a good run here, but there's also a bit of composure about him as he goes round the keeper and slots it away. And as I say, I think that Dundee United will have to watch him very closely this afternoon.
There'll certainly be a few votes for Nacho Novo as man of the match this afternoon. As always, we'd like your vote, and 3 prizes for you: the man of the match's jersey, a match day out at a Bank of Scotland Premier League game of your choice or club of your choice, and a digital radio. 09011 110 861 09011 110 861. Right, we've heard from Ian McCall. Time now to hear from Jim Duffy, and as we mentioned, this is a day when Dundee don't need a team bus, they just walk down the hill.
Jim, this is unique, isn't it? There's nowhere else in the world that this short walk between stadiums. Think of money you're saving.
Well, maybe the San Siro, if the fact they just to maybe wander around the dressing room or around the track. But no, I think in a derby match, Chick, there's not too many. I can actually, not just the stroll, but the fact that they're actually very relaxed strolling down to the biggest rivals.
I'm just wondering what Ravanelli said when you said there's no coach, luxury coach to the next stadium.
Yeah, I said, you know, I think it's just words. I think in my best Italian, you mean we're walking to the match? Yeah, I think, but no, I think he's realised by now that it's nice, just a nice leisurely stroll.
Can you give us a bit of team, Jim? Is Ravanelli starting, Burley starting?
Yeah, Fabrizio will definitely start the match. Craig Burley's on the bench today. As I've already mentioned, Craig, he's still working on his fitness, but I think his experience could be vital today, and you know, he's included in the squad for the first time.
I'd actually like to have a longer chat with you, but it's not really much of a stroll, is it, between Dens and Tannadice?
Yeah, I think we might need to stop to get a wee rest. It's that far down. But no, I think it's great, you know, for us just to wander down. It's a great day for football as well. So, you know, it's one of these days where very relaxed before the game. I'm not quite sure it'll be the same in about an hour's time, Jack.
You might need some kind of safety truck to get you back out the road, Jim.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's always easy before it, but coming back might be a wee bit different. But I mean, we've done this for years, and I say certainly I've never had too much abuse, you know. A wee bit now and again, but that's part of the fun.
Well, I'm going to wave you just in case. All the best, Jim.
All right, cheers, Jack, thanks.
Oh, very well for the players. Who pushes the hamper back up the hill? That's what I want to know. We're just minutes away from kick-off time then. It's Dundee United against Dundee. The last time they met, it was Ian McCall's introduction to the Dundee derby. McCall against Duffy, Dundee United against Dundee. It's the derby. Let's enjoy it with Robin Sandy.
Good afternoon from Tannadice, so near geographically and yet so far apart in terms of the deep-seated rivalry between these city neighbours with just a street between them. Linked as well, of course, these days by big ambition. United chairman Eddie Thompson has bankrolled a dozen signings, but even his spending power in these stringent times is about to be put in the shade, it seems, by Dundee's Giovanni Di Stefano. Here's your refresher on the two teams. No Charlie Miller for Dundee United. He's injured, remains so. Ian McCall picks the same team as he did at Pittodrie last weekend, which won up there. 3 valuable points for him. Tony Bullock is injured, so is Scott Patterson. He's been out for a while. Much has been made of the signings made by Thompson and McCall, but there are only 4 new faces in this lineup, and a lot of these players are the ones Ian McCall inherited.
United today will have to defend well. Not only the back three that you can see there, but also the midfield 4, Wilson, Easton, McInnes and Patterson. If that happens, then Ian McCall will surely be confident that Billy Dodds, Andy McLaren and Jim McIntyre are good enough to get at least 1 goal in this game.
Well, as Chick found out before he ran out of puff, Fabrizio Ravanelli is in the starting lineup, Craig Burley isn't, and I think it's probably worth stressing that Jim Duffy feels that Craig Burley is really not near the stage of fitness where he is able to start the match. Tempting though it would have been to put him in here, because no Georgie Nemzati, and much will Dundee miss their playmaker who's out with a knee injury. Gary Brady's in a Dundee midfield in which Gavin Ray takes added responsibility today with his buddy, his partner in crime Nemzati out. First Dundee derby for Ravanelli. No Lovell, Milne, Cowan, Sancho, Carranza or Hutchison available to Duffy, but significantly Lee Mayer is fit and does play, and he's been important, hasn't he, Sandy?
You're right, Rob, and although that they have many injury problems, when you look at those players, you don't really see many weaknesses. It's the normal back 4. Barry Smith today, I'm sure, will play in Billy Dodds' area, allowing Gavin Ray and Gary Brady to support the talented strike force, who are all capable of causing any defence problems. And it's very interesting today to see Ravanelli, to see how well he performs.
Yeah, he was asking for you as well. The Dundee derby, the first of the season. Barry Smith back in the Dundee side. As Nemzati has to miss out, sadly for the Dundee supporters here. And Derek McInnes leading out United. Derby day in Dundee, and it's always a very special atmosphere here when these two lock horns. Six points between them at the moment, and 6 Premier places as well. Jim Duffy's Dundee can go 3rd today. They can go above Hearts on goal difference if they can win this one at the home of their big rivals. And how happy the Dundee fans to see this man in a dark blue shirt, Fabrizio Ravanelli. What a career he's had at Juventus and Lazio, Marseille, Middlesbrough, Derby County, 22 Italian caps. Been there, done it, 35 in December. Ian McCall has experienced the Dundee derby only once. He didn't play in it when he was with Dundee as a player, but he did feature, of course, as manager in the last one of last season, which finished 1-1. 9 months in charge, Ian McCall. He's won only 7 out of 25, but signs recently that he and they might just be turning the corner. Mike McCarry is the referee. He also handled the first Old Firm match of the season, which was live on the BBC, and justifiably earned plaudits for his understated performance in that one, which kept a lid on what can sometimes be a fairly volatile atmosphere. Take out McBurley. Dundee United against Dundee. You can forget your logic, you can forget your league placings. It's all down to who handles this better. Nacho Novo with an early chance to show he can do, and he's been doing it with a fair bit of regularity so far this season. But after 10 seconds, even Dundee's top scorer was taken by surprise here.
This is a real chance, Rob. It's a poor ball from Craig Easton, and Nacho Novo, I thought there he was just going to try and look over the top of Paul Gallagher, but really didn't get a good connection on the ball. But slack play from United early on.
And if United needed a wake-up call, that was it, because Nacho Novo has struck 11 times this season. And see those silver boots he's wearing? Well, he sleeps with them, apparently. What you do in the privacy of your own home is up to yourself, but I wouldn't have thought you would get that close to your boots. Or does he clean them first? Could be the subject of Chick's interview later. I know he'll be fascinated. Javier Caballero for Dundee. Always a threat, always a danger. Jorge Fernandez, poor ball in. Chris Innes plays it clear, back it comes. And this time Alan Archibald. Fabrizio Ravanelli, his first involvement. Now Novo with a licence to roam. Dave Mackay. Everything being given in the early challenges. Novo to the byline. Corner kick, first of the match. Off Jim Patterson, won by Novo.
Dundee have started really well. Lots of confidence, playing down the slope at Tannadice. That man there, Nacho Novo. First opportunity. The big Lee Wilkie, of course, up for the set piece.
Just showing where he wants it. Fair on target. Two minutes in. Gary Brady's corner. Not convincingly cleared. Lee Wilkie. Twinkle toes. Dave Mackay shaping for the cross. That's a poor one when it's played in. And the header out from McInnes wasn't too clever either. Chasing it out himself. Barry Smith. Wilkie stayed up. Brady can slip it through for Caballero. No offside. And a stinging shot turned round the corner by Paul Gallagher.
It's a good combination of passes from Dundee. Lee Wilkie involved. This is a great pass from Brady. Caballero certainly onside. Good first touch. Buys a yard of space there. It's a good shot and a good save from Gallagher.
In from Brady. Again, Dundee United struggling to get it away. It's Craig Easton, and there was a hint of a handball. For the Dundee players, I think there was more than a hint.
Yeah, they were certainly claiming for a penalty kick. I don't think Craig Easton could have done an awful lot about it. The real pressure from Dundee early in the game.
Grappling going on in the penalty box. The foul goes against Lee Wilkie. Well, Craig Easton in the spotlight. Let's have a closer look.
Well, it's a corner kick again. It's near post. There's a little flick on. You just see it there. And I don't think he could do anything about that. Although I think he managed to get his arm out the road. And it was actually more his side that hit.
Yeah, I think that was the chest of Easton, despite the optimism of the Dundee supporters. And you can expect everything to be screamed for this afternoon, however dubious. A cut above the eye for Chris Innes. And I don't know how happy Chris Innes is to see the television cameras, because he's featured in a couple this season for Kilmarnock and for Dundee United against Rangers and Michael Moles, which he would rather forget. One was a red card, and one he was responsible for the concession of a couple of goals.
Touch there from Mike McCurry.
That's Patterson, that's Mackay, the two number threes. And the whistle goes. Down at the track side, or the pitch side, depending on what you want to call it.
The trick, I tell you, the excitement's been unbelievable down here. Gene McCall is frantic. He's already broken a pen. They're ready to borrow one from one of the room staff there. Now he's had a little word with Jim Patterson, in fact, came across and a word with Ian about some problem got in the near post, I think, at the corners. We're going to try and sort that out. We can watch a bit of difference next time that Dundee get a corner. We've got a problem down here as well with Big Wilkie, Rob.
I thought you'd spot that eventually.
A head knock as well. There's so much excitement going on here.
Well, it's only his head, should be okay. But Lee Wilkie still off the pitch. Dundee temporarily down to 10 men.
Chris Innes is back on as well for United.
Well, we've packed a fair bit into the first 5 minutes, typically of this match. Gavin Ray. Ravanelli against Archibald. Patterson hooks it away. If you want time on the ball here, dream on. Mackay to Novo, Archibald in the way. Now Dodds. Jim Patterson. Jim McIntyre. The ball's getting a bit of a bruising at the moment. Fabian Caballero. Billy Dodds racing back. And does a successful job of blocking the route to goal. He's played for both these teams, of course, among several others.
That sums up the game so far, Rob. Billy Dodds back defending almost in his own goal line.
Caballero kicked that in just. Alan Archibald with the clearance. Wilkie's there. Head patched up. Novo. Now Mackay. Novo's silver boots again, but this time not shining quite so brightly. And no great threat to the Dundee defence at all so far. 6.5 minutes gone. Archibald launches a long angled ball. Ever hopeful that Jim McIntyre might catch it.
McIntyre had no chance of picking up that ball. United really haven't started yet. They haven't managed to play 1, 2, 3 passes. They've got to try and keep a hold of the ball, keep the pressure off the defenders.
Lovely touch from Novo and from Ravanelli, back infield to Ray. And a good start from the team from across the road. That walk did them good. Mackay to Caballero. Useful for Nacho Novo. Took a touch and he was shut down by Chris Innes. And that was out.
He was unlucky there, Nacho Novo. Good play again from Caballero. This is a good ball into the box. Novo first to it again. Tries to take it across the defenders. Manages to get half a yard of space, but couldn't spin enough to get a decent contact on the ball. But he started the game well. Scores a few problems into feet and over the top.
It's amazing that Novo has scored 11 goals this season. Fabian Caballero hasn't scored at all for Dundee. Contributes so much. But it's amazing to think that in the last weekend of October, Caballero still to get off the mark. You wouldn't bet against him here, though, would you? Sliced his clearance to Barry Smith. Patterson couldn't keep it. That's what Dundee United have to do, and it's what they've failed to do so far. Smith off Dodds and out. And the ball gets a little breather.
That was good play from Gavin Ray. I love to see him doing that. He drives forward with the ball.
Check Andy McLaurin's got a boot problem, has he?
Yeah, unlike Nacho, he's not sleeping with one though. A couple of them are. He's lost a stud, a screw-in stud. Tony Docherty's just been one of the backroom staff, has been to the dressing room to get a stud. Andy McLaurin's got it in his hand, he can't get a chance to get it in. He's kneeled down and screwed it in. That's the problem, the game's so frantic.
You don't get a wee spanner with you?
I have, he's sitting beside me.
And for Ravanelli, that's a good cutout, it had to be, from David McCracken.
Great play from Ravanelli down the left-hand side. Doesn't panic here. Holds on to the ball. There's an overlap from Hernandez, but decides to go on his own. And this is a good ball in near post. Nacho Novo trying to get there. And David McCracken doing his job well.
A spanner in the works. Tony Docherty does have one. And he can get his stud sorted for Andy McLaren. Gavin Ray's corner. Lee Wilkie climbing for the header. Ravanelli waiting for it to come down. It wouldn't be the surprise of the afternoon if Dundee scored. They've had all the early pressure. Caballero threatening again. It was an unwise challenge from Jim McIntyre, and Fabian Caballero was looking for a penalty.
This is a good ball from Lee Wilkie. The technique Caballero likes. I don't think there's too much in that. Certainly not deliberate from McIntyre. Maybe Caballero trying to... Well, when you see that, when you see it from that angle, there's definitely contact made.
Yeah. I think whatever, Sandy, you don't want to be diving in that area.
It's a forwards challenge, Rob, but Mike McCurry certainly didn't get a good view of it. His assistant, who was only maybe 15 yards away, certainly seen it.
Gary Brady. Mistake from Lee Wilkie. offers Dundee United their first chance to get the ball into the box. Mark Wilson. Andy McLaren. Tony Fernandez takes the ball away from him. Given straight to Derek McInnes. And the header was from Jim Patterson at the back post. That was a chance. Patterson again. Gavin Ray stopped him. And the United looking as if they might find their feet here.
That was certainly better play from United. Good ball in from Derek McInnes, and Jim Patterson, he does that so well playing left wing back today. Gets up there into the back post. And he's first to the ball in there.
Here he is again. Was that out? Yes, it was. Good work from Nacho Novo. Tracking back with Jim Patterson and then shooting that he couldn't get the ball whipped back in from the byline. Billy Dodds. Here's Craig Easton. And the United have a corner there first.
Better play from United though. For the first time in the game, they're able to keep the ball in the Dundee half. Patterson's chance at the back post and winning the corner kick that time. A good run from Craig Easton.
The back three for United coming up on block into opposition territory. And it's McCracken and Archibald. It's Steve Mackay who gets his head to the corner kick. United skipper McInnes. Easton. McLaren. And now there's a chance for Billy Dodds, and well, that's not like him, failing to hit the target, unchallenged.
It's a good ball in from Andy McLaren, and Billy does really well here to give Chris Innes a shout to leave it. You'll see it coming in. Innes could attack it, but he gets a shout to leave it. Ducks out of it, and Billy will be disappointed he doesn't hit the target. He's got to maybe put it back across goal. Speroni moving towards the ball, try and catch him with the wrong foot.
They haven't forced Speroni into action yet, United, and there was a chance from that man of many goals, Billy Dodds. Free kick against the challenge on McLaren, who's still on a short-term deal here at Tannadice, but the expectation is that within the next few days that contract might be extended. I don't want to say too much about contracts this afternoon. Patterson's cross. McLaren was there. Easton had a crack, still hasn't. Wilson. Brady intercepts. Novo's on the move. Gavin Ray supporting the attack, three ahead of him. Gavin Ray going all the way, and that was almost deflected into the path of Novo.
Good break from Dundee. Down the left-hand side initially, Nacho Novo playing this ball to Gavin Ray. I'm not sure what Gavin's trying to do there. I thought he was maybe trying to get a yard of space, first of all, to have a shot. Eventually tried to play the pass, but too much on it.
Andy McLaren was offside there, as Gavin Ray tried to force the issue at the other end. Andy McLaren scored in his first Dundee derby, in his first spell with United. It was 10 years ago. Lee Mayer's pass, Nacho Novo unmarked. That's not recommended. Mark Wilson gets it clear for the home team, but they're making a major mistake if they allow Dundee's top scorer that sort of room inside the area.
It's a simple pass for the middle, Rob. Lee Mayer there, and Nacho Novo's onto it again over the top, and Chris Innes eventually does really well. What's this tackle here? It looks as if he's going to get away, just gets enough in the ball to clears the danger.
bbc.co.uk/sportscotland, the website. If you want to email us, let us know what you think at these early stages of the Dundee derby. 07736 600 600 if you're texting. Let us know what you think about the match. It's always compelling viewing And it's advantage Dundee so far, but still goalless with 15 minutes or so gone. Paul Gallagher had his hands warmed by that early strike from Caballero. Might be in just the sort of position here that Ravanelli fancies. Ravanelli's effort is wide. Gallagher had it covered.
Paul Gallagher certainly realises this is going wide, but from our angle I thought it was going in. You see it there just bending away from goal, just a yard past. It's a decent free kick, good execution from Ravanelli.
Novo high on confidence, as you would expect, having started the season in sensational form. It was £100,000 from Wraith Rovers, Nacho Novo, and it looks to be money very well spent. Still a lot to come from him, still a young player, but he has that uncanny knack of tucking away chances and creating goal-scoring opportunities as well. He's quick. And he's got those tinfoil boots as well. Mark Wilson's pass intercepted by Tony Hernandez. Dundee free kick. Tony Hernandez is a Venezuelan international player now. He was understudy to Roberto Carlos at Real Madrid before he came here, but born in Venezuela and now playing, featuring for the South American team. But there's an unforced error from Dundee. Lee Mayer holds up the hand of apology. Archibald's crossfield pass achieves little. Chris Innes has obviously been watching the Rugby World Cup, kicking for touch.
One or two mistakes in the last few minutes. I think the pace has dropped just that little bit, Rob, after the hectic start. I think that suits United, Chris Innes there, more than it does Dundee at the moment.
United have found some form. They've lost only once in their last 6 games, having been defeated in their opening 4, but when you say defeated in their opening 4, you have to remember they played Celtic, Rangers, Hibs and Hearts. It wasn't really the opening to the season that they would have picked. Ravanelli's touch, releases Nacho Novo. It's a penalty for Dundee. David McCracken is penalised. The finger being pointed in the face of the Dundee striker, but the minute you got on the wrong side of McCracken, you thought there, something's got to give.
I think it's a penalty, Rob. We'll see it again now, but United again are caught with the ball over the top. Nacho Novo does everything right here. Gets across the defender, and you can see him pulling him back on his shoulder there. It's bad defending to start with, and I think Mike McCurran's got this absolutely right. Great player from Novo, cutting across, the pull's there. He maybe goes down a bit easily.
I thought he trod on his heel as well there, Sandy. There was definite contact, and David McCracken was furious when the award was given, but I think Mike McCarthy got that right. Nacho Novo looking for his 12th goal of the season, and gets it, and it's the opener in the first Dundee derby of the season. The dark blues hit the front.
Deservedly so as well. It's a great penalty from Nacho Novo. Steps up, sends Paul Gallagher the right way. Novo's earned the penalty kick and has got the confidence to go and stick it in the back of the net. Just watch his eyes there. Watch the goalkeeper first of all. A little bit of taunting there for the United fans. But Dundee deservedly in front.
Jim Duffy's happy with the way his team have started this. They've been on top, and that opening goal has been coming for them.
But you wonder, Rob, how many opportunities United are going to give Dundee with the ball over the top. They're aware of Nacho Novo's pace, and it's happened time after time, and now they've paid the price.
12 goals for the season. It's a great achievement for Novo.
I tell you, Rob, when you look at it as well, McCracken, was it a goal-scoring opportunity?
Yeah, that's a fair point. If it's a penalty, then it should have been a red card to go with it. So David McCracken, angry though he is at the moment about the award being given against him, might take a moment to reflect with some relief that he wasn't sent packing. Mackay to Ravanelli. Fabrizio Ravanelli has been a big part in these opening stages for Dundee. It was he who flicked the ball through for Novo prior to winning the penalty. And he's been influential in just about everything Dundee have done going forward. Dundee winning all the battles so far and getting the benefit of the award here from Mike McCurry. But I think that was right.
Yeah, I think it's right, Rob. He's all over the forward. As I said before, it's the initial starting position that caused the problem.
Danger for Dundee United again with Caballero on the ball. Chris Innes doing the defending. And Dundee United having to do a lot of defending inside the first 22 minutes. Testing times for Ian McCall. Knew he'd have it tough. The league table tells you how well Dundee have started the season. And they can retake third place if they win. And they've got just the start they were looking for. Mackay. Brady to Ray. Slick stuff from Dundee. So much fluency about the way they're playing here. Gavin Ray must have hurt me. Why does it always go that way? 19-year-old Mark Wilson for Dundee United. Long-serving Craig Easton. That's poor.
United just can't keep the ball off.
No pressure on Easton at all there, Sandy, as he sent that pass astray.
It's the same ball again.
Yep, over the top for Novo, and McCracken again being pulled and stretched.
That man there, Nacho Novo, was so quick over the top that I'm sure Ian McCall's maybe thinking about his back three, Rob. For me, if you're playing against three forwards, you've got to try and play a four.
Ravanelli was looking for the bicycle kick. Doesn't want his first goal for Dundee to be a dull one. And he scored a few spectacular ones in his glittering career, which has involved a goal in the European Cup final, among others. What's happening down there in the technical area, Chip?
Jim Duffy's been very calm, actually, not surprisingly, throughout the first stages of this game. And he's just burst into action a few moments ago. He's encouraging Dundee to play the ball into the corner for Caballero and for Novo to chase. Once it curled around the defence at the corners for them to get in, and after that, and I guess that's been pretty successful for them so far.
A high boot from Hernandez and a free kick for Dundee United.
No complaints here.
Chris Innes heading up, while an Archibald as well. McCracken stays back this time. Dodge and McIntyre in there. McLaren just outside the area. In from Jim Patterson, good take from Julian Speroni. He's had very little to do so far, but he does that well.
That's an easy one for him, Rob. Bread and butter to the goalkeeper. Too much height in the ball, no pace on it. Loads of time to make the decision to come for a cross.
In the 25th minute of the first Dundee derby of the season, live from BBC Scotland. And Dundee on top, not just in terms of scoreline, but in terms of the flow of the game as well. Who will be the man of the match, I wonder? Who do you think? Well, 09011 110861 is the number. Sandy will decide later. And I guess you'd have to say most of the contenders so far are wearing the darker shirts. So much fluidity about the front three for Dundee, with Novo and Caballero and Ravanelli. They can all switch.
That's the secret, Rob. I think that the United wing-backs of Patterson and Wilson have got real problems because they end up 2v1 against them. One of the Dundee forwards will come to the wide area. They're asking them to pick him up. But you get support midfield player as well, so it makes it a 2v1.
Ravanelli there just failing to play Novo in again. Jim Patterson down the line for Andy McLaren. Wilkie's challenge. McLaren stays down. No free kick. Wilkie still on the ball.
Sorry, Rob, I'll tell you, Mike McLaren was right up the play. I don't think there's any contact at all there. And McLaren bumps into Lee Wilkie, come off second best. Good referee.
It's a man's game, as you keep telling me.
Correct.
Fernandez to Brady. Brady slots in well for Dundee when he's brought into the side. Not a first pick if Dundee are at full strength. He does a good job.
He's a good footballer, Rob, passes the ball very well. It suits Dundee's style.
Mackay to Ravanelli, great movement from the Italian. Picks out Gavin Ray. And Gavin Ray picks himself up very quickly. Wasn't looking for the penalty, despite the cheers of his supporters.
That one was never a penalty. It was good play again from Dundee though. Ravanelli played a good ball in. Gavin Ray's knocked the ball so far in front of him, he's no chance of getting it anyway. He seemed to just roll over McCracken's leg.
It's no great surprise, Sandy, but Fabrizio Ravanelli uses the ball so well, doesn't he?
Rob, I was going to say that every pass is a good one. He takes control of the ball, holds it up, that lets his midfield players go up and support him. And as you see, every pass is a good one. Right to a blue jersey.
Great touch from Novo to win control. Tormenting Archibald and McCracken and Innes. Kept out that time.
Fabian Caballero not too happy with him. He's saying he should have passed it earlier. But again, it's the ball over the top. Here we see it again. It's just a long ball forward. Nacho Novo, he's on his bike, he's away nice and early. Those silver boots showing a good touch there. But this is where he should have passed it. You can see Caballero there in the background. He should have laid it back to him.
I think those boots could be getting the hot water bottle treatment again tonight.
I think Chick will be buying a pair soon.
The teenager Wilson. Easton there. No great problem for Mayer or Ray. And Speroni clears. When they do get into the final third, United lacking at the moment any ingenuity and too many ideas.
They don't have any confidence, Rob. That's half the battle. Dundee, the team playing all the passes. Great variation in the play. Ravanelli, Caballero happy coming short. As we said often enough, Nacho Novo's causing lots of problems in behind.
And that sends out a message as well there. Derek McInnes forced into a poor pass. Under pressure, United in all areas of the pitch. And McInnes, who was influential in last week's win up at Aberdeen, really hasn't had too much joy here so far.
When you look for the United team, McInnes, he's the captain, but there's lots of experience, Rob. The Billy Dodds, McLaren, McIntyre. Easton now is not a young player. Patterson's played lots of the games. Those guys have to stand up and take responsibility. They have to get a point in the game if United are going to get back in the match.
And Ian McCall might need a bigger notebook the way things are going. Caballero's touch, and he was taken out after the ball had gone. Advantage played. Fernandez with the cross, flicked away by Archibald, and turned out the play by Jim Patterson. He didn't have too many options there. United on the back foot, and they knew it.
It was a good build-up again, Rob, in the way down the left that time for Dundee.
Barry Smith launches it in for Nacho Novo. He lost it for a moment as it was dropping out of the sky. Mark Wilson to Andy McLaren. And Billy Dodds operating in behind the front two. Jim Patterson. Jim McIntyre. McLaren. Wilson. And McInnes had the shot off Ray and behind, corner kick.
Better from United, but that man there, Gavin Ray, that's a great interception. He's involved for Dundee every time the game's in motion, whether it's getting forward, supporting the front players, getting on the ball, as we've seen him there defending well.
6 in the box for Andy McLaren. 1 is Jim McIntyre. And it's cleared by Danny Brady. Ex-Tottenham and Newcastle and Portsmouth. And Jim Duffy using his Portsmouth connection to bring him up to Dens. McIntyre able to keep possession, United, and Dundee looking to hurt the Tannadice team again. Ravanelli back heels it to Ray. Good header from David McCracken. To Patterson, Andy McLaren. Not best lay off, it takes the momentum out of that Dundee United passing movement. Good challenge by Mayer on McLaren. Dundee have defended well so far.
There, Rob. Ravanelli made a magnificent run there of Gavin Ray, just seen him.
Here is Ray. Put it away from him by Innes. Ray's challenge on Archibald brings a free kick for Dundee United. Next weekend, we're at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock against Celtic. A 12:30 kick-off next Saturday. We're on here from 12:10. Celtic 5 points in front as we speak. Craig Easton's cross. Lee Wilkie's header. Good defending from the man who captained the Scotland future team on Tuesday night at Pittodrie. Easton overrun it. Barry Smith, right place, right time. And back with Paul Gallagher. Craig Easton was out of the Dundee United first team for a while when Ian McCall first took charge, looking to reinstate his claims to a regular place. But when you look at the bench, you see Ian McCall signings like Barry Robson and Mark Kerr, and that underlines the threat to Easton's position. Gavin Ray now. Disappointing first touch for him. McLaren switching flanks. And not a damaging ball in. Easily cut out by Smith.
Well, but just that final ball from Dundee United. No penetration, no real belief in the last third of the pitch where he hurt it.
No great composure, Sandy.
Yep.
And Ian McCall will not be entirely happy with this. Will he, Chick?
No, he's not. It's a simple answer to that. He's been having a real go for the last few minutes. I think he feels off that his team are sitting too deep. There's a gap between the midfield and the back line. That's where I think where Dundee are getting in about it, and he's been trying to tell the back line to come out much quicker.
Offside against Nacho Novo. You could see exactly what he wanted to do there. It needed the pass to have been played a little bit quicker.
He was offside. Better play from the United back three. Novo just a fraction too early. He's been such a threat going forward with the ball over the top, Novo.
It was he who won the penalty. It was he who scored the penalty. 1-0 Dundee. Wilson. Again, poor ball in. Derek McInnes this time. Lost it left for Easton. Good challenge from Mackay. Disciplined defending from Dundee.
The Dundee back four have been solid. Barry Smith does a very good job just in front of him to protect him.
Hernandez header. In went Archibald ahead of Novo. Mackay hits it long. And McCracken hits it out. And polite little exchange between Andy McLaren and the Dundee supporters. Have a good Christmas, that sort of thing. The second spell, of course, at Tannadice McLaren. The Dundee fans remember him well. And they remember him well because he always used to do damage against their team. That's why they don't care for him too much. But he doesn't maybe care for them too much either at the moment.
Not too much love lost there. I think Andy would do well to concentrate on what's happening on the field.
Dundee's throw. 36 minutes gone. Time flies in the Dundee derby.
It's a free kick there. Craig Easton and Gavin Wright. I think it's important that the United players are all over the field, really get closer to the Dundee players. They've got to try and stop Dundee passing the ball as well as they're doing.
Lee Wilkie with the free kick, looking for the head of Ravanelli. Played away by McCracken. Way to Novo. It breaks for Caballero, couldn't keep the shot down. It was a chance, and it was deflected. Corner.
Again, it's a threat inside the box. Ravanelli won the first header, Nacho Novo in there. The ball forward to Caballero. It's a good block from Alan Archibald. Archibald makes the first challenge. He gets close enough to make sure Caballero's shot's not on target.
Lofted in by Gary Brady. Flipped on by Lee Mayer and away by Dodds. United seem to be hurrying everything.
That's a poor pass from Billy Dodds. He could have played under the plan to feet there. They tried it over the top, and Hernandez had a 10-yard start on him.
David McCracken. Alan Archibald, 7 years at Partick Thistle for Archibald. He's been about as impressive as any of Ian McCall's signings so far. Easton to Patterson. Same for Jim McIntyre. Good defending again from Tony Hernandez. So calm, so cool, and keeps the ball. That's crucial. That's what Dundee are doing, and Dundee aren't.
So it's composure, Rob, as you said. Hernandez looking for a free kick there and getting it. I thought he was a little bit fortunate there that time, to be fair. United fans in the far end not too happy with Mike McCurry. I think when you look at the game, Rob, Julian Speroni and the Dundee goal has had very little to do. 1 or 2 cross balls, easy to deal with.
He could have taken his Sunday supplements with him and had a wee read in the goalmouth, because he really hasn't had too much to do. Picked out a couple of crosses and that's it. Ravanelli threatening, but no corner for this time.
As a corner, Rob, Mike McCurry's overruled his assistant, and rightly so. The assistant had a better view of that, decided it was a goal kick, but Mike McCurry seen the corner kick. We'll see it here. Long ball in, good chance from Ravanelli. Alan Archibald certainly getting the last touch on it, so well done, Mike McCurry.
I think it was actually Ravanelli who overruled the assistant.
He made this here.
Brady's corner. Free kick against Wilkie. Pressure off United for a moment, but there's been a lot of pressure on the Tannadice team's defence in this first half. There's your out of the match number again, 110861. Let us know who you think will be man of the match. And don't forget to let us know as well via email or text what you think about the game. Dundee have much more to be happy about at the moment, but it remains at 1-0, and anything's possible. And there's certainly more to come, you would think, from Dundee United. Ian McCall will insist on it.
Well, Rob, at half-time, Ian McCall's going to have to do a bit of work. He's got to make his team more competitive. He's got to be more solid at the back. They've got to win the battle in the middle of the field. They've got to make Speroni work. Easily said.
That's all. Good run from Mark Wilson. Played away by Lee Mayer as Julian Speroni came to catch it.
But again, Rob, when the ball's playing into the box, Lee Mayer, it's easy for him to get to the ball first.
And from Christenis to Randy McLaren. Callum Ray spotted the danger. Lee Mayer plugging the gap. Derek McInnes trying to exert his influence in central midfield. Billy Dodds trying to win a free kick. Never much of a chance of getting it though.
I tell you what happens at times, Rob. Mike McCurry and Billy Dodds have got a few words. I don't think the referee was too happy with Billy Dodds a few minutes ago. And that time it may have been a free kick, but the referee's maybe just proving a point there. I'll make the decisions.
Andy McLaren. Lee Wilkie solid in defence for Dundee. Wilson. I don't sound like Captain Manring when I say Wilson like that, do I?
There's only one Wilson.
Jim Patterson lines up the cross. Jim McIntyre flung himself at it. But again, this Dundee defence taking a bit of piercing.
In the last few minutes, it's been better from United. Just that final pass again.
Craig Easton looking at ways of opening up the visitors. Jim Patterson forces the corner off Nacho Novo.
That's good defending from Nacho Novo, looking back the way as well. A real threat going forward, but fighting for the cause, looking back.
It would be a good time for United to score, but then I think the way things have gone for them in the first half, any time would be a good time. Andy McLaren's corner, punched by Julian Speroni. Back in from Patterson, McIntyre there. Danger over for Dundee.
United's second best again at set pieces.
Just make a note of that.
It's a good ball in, but Speroni again, no real challenge on him. He's punched that Robert head height. He should be put under more pressure. When the ball comes in, McIntyre gets to the ball first. But you see two United players would have been offside there. That little flick there from McIntyre and found a teammate.
United have been too easily brushed aside, aren't they, Sandy, all over the pitch?
They have, that's the bottom line. They've lost the battle. And that's what I'm saying about Ian McCall at half-time. Him and McCall and his coaching staff have got to get a lot more spirit into his team. You have to win the battle for the privilege of playing passes.
Fresh air shot from Dave Mackay. Jim McIntyre. Back goes Mackay. That's good play. That's what sums him up. Made the mistake seconds beforehand, but he was back to make amends. And that's what makes him an invaluable player on the right side of defence for Jim Duffy. Gallagher to McLaren. We are won the header though. Caballero loses possession for once.
I tell you, Rob, I've been disappointed in Fabian Caballero today. He normally plays very well, especially when it's a live BBC game, but he's given the ball away too often today.
Foul given against Ray. 30 seconds left of the first 45 minutes. It's Nacho Novo's goal that separates these two so far. Novo uses his pace to get away from Patterson. He's beaten Archibald as well. Now Ravanelli. Caballero skips away from Wilson. Gets to the byline. And that's out. It was a thrilling attack though from Dundee.
It was great play. Chris Ennis is going to be in trouble, but Nacho Novo does really well down the right hand side, skipping away from Jim Patterson. And this is a good pass. Watch the ball to Ravanelli. There, and watch Chris Ennis is late with the tackle. Finds Caballero, who tries to go down the side to play the ball back in, but knocks it out of play. That's what I mean about Caballero today. On his day, keeps that ball in the field of play.
And Dundee have that danger element in attack, which United have so sadly lacked so far. 1 minute being added to the 45, and it's about 30 seconds played already. Almost over in the first period. Andy McLaren will up the header, down from McIntyre to Easton, and right on half-time, a chance for the Dundee United midfielder to square the game.
This is United's best chance in the first half. It's a real opportunity. Good combination of headers there from the United front to Easton first in the ball, but you've got to keep that down. You've got to keep it on target. You've got to make the goalkeeper work. He does really well, Easton, to be first in the ball. You've got to get it on target.
And that will reinforce Jim Duffy's message to his team inside the away dressing room at half-time. It's not over yet.
That's the first time they've lost a header, a vital one inside their own box. And it was more than a half chance for Easton.
Half-time at Tannadice, and it's the Dundee fans who are up on their feet, courtesy of Nacho Novo's 12th goal of the season. He won the penalty, he scored it. It's 1-0. Here's Gordon Chisholm.
It's been a blistering first half. Gordon, what have you made of it?
I thought for 35 minutes there it was one-way traffic with Dundee. I thought they had the upper hand. I thought the last 5-10 minutes we started to show a wee bit, started to keep the ball, and started to come into the game a bit.
Yeah, so maybe a chance just before the whistle there, just put on the back of Craigies.
Well, there's a good chance, maybe a half chance. They're the sort of things we've got to try and take, Chick.
Yeah, great atmosphere. Look forward to signing half. Thanks, Gordon.
Dundee with lots of ideas in attack, lots of pace, and when Novo got on the wrong side of McCracken, penalty kick was the decision, and it was taken superbly by Dundee's top scorer. A dozen goals for him this season. None will have been enjoyed by him more than that one. It's 1-0 in the derby.
Yeah, the United fans, I'm sure, not impressed with Nacho Novo's reaction to putting Dundee 1-up. It's been a typical derby, I suppose, Bobby, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's a good game. They're fighting for everything, as you would expect, but not been a lot of goal-mouth incidents, to be honest. Few chances for either team, but maybe that's because the defences have been on top. But no, Dundee United were disappointed with a goal down. The penalty, I've got to disagree with Sandy again, and Rob for that matter. I'm not too sure the guy tried to pull him down. It may have been an accidental collision, but they've got the penalty and they've got their noses in front, and it's going to be difficult for United.
We'll take a look at that penalty from all sorts of angles a little bit later on, but I think Dundee still the better side in the first half, Gordon. I don't think United can argue too much about the fact that they're all down.
Dundee got right at them right from the very start. I mean, it was a bad pass, obviously, it put Novo in right away, but from then on I just felt that Dundee were creating the better chances and more football about them, and I thought they played some excellent stuff going forward. Dundee United come back into it, they made it a decent match. Dundee United are not out of this by any means, and the chance they had at the very end was like the second chance of the first half, but they weren't creating enough. But definitely when it came to creating chances, Dundee were on top in that aspect.
Well, Dundee having the better of the first 45 minutes. Second half to come, of course. In the meantime, we've still got one match to fill in from yesterday afternoon's programme, and that was at Firhill, winless Partick Thistle entertaining Hearts. Dougie Vipond followed senior pro Jerry Britton throughout match day yesterday.
I've heard of company cars, Jerry, but this is fairly ridiculous.
Well, it just shows you this will know how to look after their top players. I think I was spending that much time in it coaching the under-21s, ferrying them about, that they just decided that I could take it up the road to look after it at night as well.
Playing today against Hearts, of course, and they had that drumming against Celtic last week. You were hoping that they haven't got over that yet?
But hopefully not, but we know that they're a quality side. They've showed that over the last couple of seasons, and there's no easy games even at home in this league, so we know that we've got to be in the top of our game to take anything today.
Once at the stadium, it's all go for Jerry. First a live interview into lunchtime sports scene, the obligatory signing of autographs, then take the first team for their warm-up.
Yep, I get it long!
Let's not forget, of course, the match. Unfortunately for Jerry, he only managed to earn himself a start from the bench as his boss made 5 changes to try and turn around Thistle's losing habit. But perhaps they could have done with his finishing ability after only 9 minutes. Kenny Milne worrying the Pigeons there. That was it from a positive point of view for Thistle for the first 45. After that, it was all Hearts. Goal number 1 came from Andy Kirk. Kirk earning his first start of the season, taking advantage of some loose, to say the least, Thistle defending and slotting Cooley home. Mark de Vries played perfect provider for goal number 1. For number 2, his finishing wasn't too bad either. Paul Hartley's cross caused consternation in the Jags' backline, and the Dutchman's 5th goal of the season was one to remember. Only 3 minutes later, Hearts made it 3, and this one came straight from the training ground. Hartley's near-post corner flicked on by Kevin McKenna, and Andy Kirk claimed his 2nd of the match. Jerry Britton came on in the 33rd minute due to an injured Andy Thompson, but did nothing to turn around Thistle's first-half fortunes. Minutes into the second half, Mark de Vries had the chance to give Hearts a 4-goal advantage. But much to the relief of the home support, his scoring boots were still drinking their half-time cup of tea. Jerry Collins threw caution to the wind in the 52nd minute by bringing on Ricky Waddle and Emmanuel Panther, and the two almost combined to offer the Jags a lifeline a minute later, but David Rowson cut out Waddle's run. That kind of sums up Thistle's afternoon, but there was one highlight for them 10 minutes later. It all came after a game of head tennis in the box. Are you still counting? Waddle did get the chance and took it very well after Jerry Britton's cross wasn't cleared by the Hearts backline. No one to impede the Thistle sub this time, and 3-1 it was. Any thoughts of a comeback, though, were dashed with only 17 minutes left to play. Man of the match Andy Kirk forced his way into the box, committing the Partick defence. Stephen Simmons showed aggression and commitment to make it 4. Simmons' first goal of the season, in only his 3rd appearance as a sub, triggered a mass evacuation of the Firhill faithful. I'm sure you can understand the despair, but they did miss Thistle's last-minute opportunity, which was more a result of Hearts relaxing rather than any incisive build-up. Craig Gordon, though, was alert enough to pluck the ball from Jerry Britton's head. Hearts back up to 3rd, Thistle still in the drop zone.
I just think that maybe players have got that fighting qualities that we look for, but we've got to get that way. Unless we get the fighting qualities in the team, then the club's going to go one way, and it's not a good way.
Well, I was disappointed with the way things went last week, to be honest with you. And we gave some people who have been very patient and waited on the sidelines for opportunities. They got opportunities to play today, and I don't think any of them did themselves any harm.
Obviously, bitterly disappointed. I think that's without a doubt our worst performance of the season. Hearts went out to park 3 times and got 3 goals in the first half, and there was no coming back from it. I think every team goes through a bad period in the season, and hopefully we put ours early doors, and that's it out the way. But we really need to start picking up results a hell of a quick.
Thanks for the lift for Hill, by the way.
No, you want dropped off?
If you could.
Right, no bother.
Good man.
Jerry in more danger of having more points in his licence than Thistle have in the table. Worst start to the season in Thistle's history. 10 matches, only 2 points. You feel for Jerry, Bobby, I think, don't you?
Yeah, it's difficult until they get that first result under a belt, the victory, and he's going to always have that on his back, and it's got to come sooner rather than later. It was interesting to hear Jerry Britton saying that Hearts went up the park 3 times and scored 3 goals. As I said, we only see the highlights, we don't know how well Thistle have played, but the 4-1 scoreline obviously flatters Hearts by the sound of what Jerry's been saying there.
Yeah, well, I think that's pushing it a little bit, isn't it?
Yeah, well.
At the end of the day, no matter how hard they work, how well organised they might or might not be, it comes down to quality in the end, and Thistle sadly look to be a wee bit short, don't they?
Well, that's not for me to comment on, to be perfectly honest. Gordon's probably better answer on that.
Yeah.
We had a difficult game at Firhill against them, and I can only judge them on that showing. And we were fortunate to get the victory. It looks as if it was 0-0 written all over it. But we get one of those last-minute goals, and thankfully it went for us instead of going against us. But as I said, Jerry will keep them battling away. That's one thing about Big Jerry, is he'll keep them fighting. And as long as they've got that will there, then they've got a chance.
Absolutely. But difficult start to the season for Hearts, of course, then a real morale booster after the disappointment of Celtic Park the week before. They, of course, have a big European tie to come, and you can see that one live here on the BBC. BBC 2 Scotland, a week on Thursday. It's an early kick-off, incidentally, 5:15 we're on with that UEFA Cup second round first leg tie from France, Bordeaux against Hearts. Now let me give you the latest on the other matches taking place this afternoon in the Barclaycard Premiership. Still 1-1 at the Valley. De Canio penalty for Charlton, Henry equalising for Arsenal. Spurs Middlesbrough kicking off in about 10 minutes or so. And in the Bells Cup final at McDiarmid, it's still 0-0 Inverness Calais Thistle against Airdrie United at half-time, and it's 1-1 final at Charlton. As you can see, that's now a result. So Arsenal will go back top of the table with that point at the Valley today. Now, a new BBC Scotland series begins on Wednesday night, which will provide fascinating viewing, I'm sure, especially if you're a Rangers fan looking for some young blood coming through. Blue Heaven follows the fortunes of the youngsters at Murray Park.
To make it as a footballer, you need drive, determination and shins of steel.
Just keep thinking positive all the time. Come in every day with your head up, smiling.
Share the highs and lows of talented youngsters as they strive for a dream place in the big league.
Football is my life, really. If I didn't have it, then I don't know what I would do.
A brand new series, Blue Heaven, starts Wednesday at 7, BBC One Scotland.
Dark Blue Heaven at Tannadice in our big derby match this afternoon. 1-0 Dundee lead at half-time. Let's pick up the highlights of the first 45 minutes then. We identified Nacho Novo, not that it was any particularly inspirational decision before the match. He's been outstanding all season and he's carried it on again today, Gordon, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He's been a threat all the time. I mean, he gets in behind defence and that was right at the very start of the game. He got put through by Ravanelli, who I think has been tremendous. I think Ravanelli's had a very, very good first half. And he gets in there and he's looking to score all the time and didn't quite make contact with that one, but this is the penalty incident here. He gets in, he gets to the other side of the defender, and I think there's contact there. I think he gets tripped as well. Watch this, there's just contact in his foot at the back there, and whether you deem it to be deliberate or not, and Bobby says it's not deliberate, nevertheless penalty kick, and the referee has to decide on that. So I think there was contact there.
So you would have said penalty. Bobby, having seen it again,
I still think it's soft. He's got to sell into pole position. He's got to sell between the player and the ball, and when strikers get themselves into that situation, and there's a good chance of getting a goal scoring opportunity. But I don't think the boy McCracken's deliberately tried to pull him down. There has been contact and he's went down and they've got a reward.
I think if the referee sees that, Bobby, then he's got a difficult decision. Behind the play, and he can't determine at times whether it's deliberate or not, and he just has, if he sees there's contact there, and he thinks that's a goal-scoring opportunity, you know.
The key is that Novo's getting in front of McCracken. Exactly. At that point on, there's always a problem, isn't there?
He's got to sell into pole position. The referee, I don't know where his positioning was, but it'd be difficult for him to call it, I would think, because obviously McCracken's between him and the player.
He was exactly.
I would have thought.
Yeah, he was behind it. You saw him, his edge of the 18-yard box, moving up on it.
So it's a difficult one for him to call, and as I said, you can't really condemn a referee for getting that one.
Yeah. We saw Fabrizio Ravanelli involved in several of those moves, and we saw hints of it last week when he laid on the goal for Novo against Partick Thistle. And it's only his second game gone, but you can already see the influence that he's bringing to the team.
Absolutely, you can see the ability and the quality that's there from a career at the top level. This was very start of the game, and you can just see he lets the man run past him, but he's looking to get the cross in. Lovely footwork, twice just takes a little shuffle on it and then puts in a very, very good near post ball. But almost everything he did showed great quality. That was probably further off target than we initially thought, but it just shows you what he's capable of doing. And I think that his touch all through the game was excellent. He makes good runs, he's got the ability, but the main thing is that when he's on the ball, he picks out passes. And there's another example of it there. Gavin Ray maybe might have been looking for a penalty kick, was never going to get it there, but at the end of the day, I think Ravanelli's fitted in really well, and he looks as if he's going to be an excellent signing for Dundee.
It's a football brain, Bobby, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a class act, you can see that. He uses confidence, and that rubs off on other players. When you see him taking a touch and making a pass, then other players try and do something like that, they try and do the same thing. But he's very capable. Dundee have got a good balance about them. They've got flair players. They've got decent defenders. I don't think anybody gives them any credit for that. Dave Mackay's and that are overlooked because of Fabrizio Ravanelli players, and that's a shame. But Dundee have got a lot about them.
Yeah, they're a good side, and United didn't have too much threat in the first half, didn't carry too much threat, but they did have a couple of chances, and Billy Dodds here will certainly be disappointed after shouting for this and then putting the header well wide. It was disappointing for Bobby, obviously.
It's a great ball for McLaren. He seems to have picked him out. Andy's given himself a wee bit of distance there and opened himself up, and I'm sure Andy's picked him out perfectly, but Dodds is trying to put too much power on it, and maybe he should have just guided it back across the goal.
Absolutely.
He's put everything into it, really. And he's
classic headers to go, isn't it? Classic headers to go for the other post where the ball comes from. That's what you should always do as a striker, and Dodds will know that himself. And say disappointed, but I think he'd be annoyed about it. But that was another chance. That was very late on. It took a long time to get another chance to give. I mean, that was the Dodds one was early on, and this was pretty late on. And it's a difficult one, though. He's under pressure. There's a tackle coming in from behind, as you see, but maybe could have done better there.
The boy's done well, actually. He's actually followed the pass. He's worked with the ball. He's moved with the ball. he's come and shown for it initially. It's been played into the box, and he's continued his run into the box. Unfortunately, he's caught it in the half volley really, and he's under pressure. And it would have been a great goal if he'd have scored it.
It would have, wouldn't it? But 1-0 it is. Good point you make about the Dundee defence, but to be fair, I think the United defence, Ian McCall made the point before the game, Gordon, that Alan Archibald settled in wonderfully well. McCracken's a good solid centre-half. Chris Innes as well. They're pretty solid at the back, actually, aren't they?
They've done pretty well. I mean, they get caught out with the penalty, but I also feel that they've had to work really hard. Dundee are making them work, and they have to think hard. Novo's so sharp, Caballero's skillful, and Ravanelli's doing some stuff, so I just think that they've still got a 45 minutes of hard work ahead of them.
OK, so 1-0 it is. Dundee leading in the Dundee derby. Let's head back to Tannadice then for the second half. Teams back out on the pitch. Let's go back to Robin Sandy.
Well, 6 points and 6 places between them. Pre-kick-off, but it could be heading for 9. Let's hear from Ray Farningham.
Ray, what have you had to say to the players at half-time?
No, as I just said, go out and do exactly the same as what you did for the first 45 minutes, because we feel we've dominated the first half.
Yeah, I think early on, certainly, but United were coming into it a little bit towards half-time.
Last 5 minutes had a wee flurry there, but apart from that, as I said, I think we've dominated the game.
And no changes?
No changes whatsoever. No.
Thanks, Ray.
Dundee with much to be happy about in that first half, but they will be wary as well. But there's always the chance of that sucker punch. Teams as they were. There's Dundee United. And that's Dundee with Craig Burley in reserve. I wonder if we'll see a glimpse of him before this second half is finished. (1-0) Dundee halfway through the first derby of the season. What can the home team do about it? Must do better. Will be the gist of what Ian McCall said at half-time, maybe not quite in those terms. Jim Patterson. Farron's pass, cut out by Mayer. Straight at Derek McInnes though. Billy Dodds. That's a good ball in. Well judged by Julian Speroni. A sprightly start to the second half by United.
This is not a bad ball from Billy Dodds, but Speroni makes it look easy. He's out so quick and so confident. He's picked the ball out there again. Defenders love that when the goalkeeper takes the pressure off him.
Sign of a good keeper too, Sandy, who's had so little to do in the match. But what he has had to do, he's done really professionally.
Well, that's right. We've seen him play time after time, and he makes things look easy.
Check the problem with Hernandez, obviously.
Yeah, it's just above his left knee there, Rob. You can just about see him having treatment.
Were you pointing at the knee there, or was that somebody else?
He did suddenly call for a bit of help. I don't know exactly what happened. I don't think there was anyone near him. And I think we've got a problem. I don't think he's going to be able to continue. Incidentally, there was a doubt about Hernandez starting this game in any case. I think he's been suffering from flu all week. But this may just finish the whole game for him. I think it flew on the knee. Oh, very good.
So Hernandez hobbling back to his feet. 10 against 11 for the moment for Dundee. And the indication is the match is over for Burik Hernandez, so Dundee will have to make a change. Lee Wilkie doing the defending as Craig Easton threatened.
Of interest, Rob, just to see who Jim Duffy's going to replace Hernandez with. Not an obvious one on the bench, an obvious defender.
McIntyre's cross. Gary Brady is slotting it left back at the moment. And that's obstruction on Fabian Caballero. Dundee free kick. And a few seconds more for Jim Duffy to decide what he's doing.
Good play there from Caballero. Looking for the free kick and won it well.
And it's going to be Craig Burley to get his first outing with his new team. And rather nice to be able to bring his experience into this famous fixture.
Can't see Craig playing left back, of course.
It looks as if Gary Brady's maybe going to play there, Sandy.
Well, he's there just now. Interesting if that's Jim Duffy's final decision on that one.
You hedging your bets? McLaren's pass to Dodds. More width supplied by Patterson. Good cross though. Easy for Lee Wilkie. Derek McInnes looking to lead by example in that United midfield. The danger of Easton snuffed out by Barry Smith. Easton's cross, bouncing in front of Mayer. It's Dodds. McIntyre trying to get round Mayer. Good defending from Lee Mayer. There were screams for a penalty from United fans. Not so much from the players, but that, to me, looked like excellent defending from young Mayer.
It's a great tackle from Lee Mayer. It's a full foot on the ball, Rob. That's why it's not a penalty.
United trying to exert some pressure. Patterson's cross! And it was Jim McIntyre's header.
Better from United. Patterson down the left-hand side. This is a good ball in. And for the first time, United win a header inside the box and they get it on target. McIntyre's unlucky. Speroni made it look easy. Right place, right time.
United looking in these early stages of the second half as if they might pose more of a challenge here, and well, they have to.
They should be, Rob. They're still playing 11 against 10. I'm sure Jim Duffy's desperate to get Craig Burley on the field.
Derek McInnes with Ravanelli at his back. Flipped on by Wilson to McLaren. Good header from Mayer. Lee Mayer impresses me more and more every time I see him.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's learning all the time, gaining lots of experience.
There's another talented youngster, Mark Wilson, just 19. Cross blocked by Smith. Wilson tries again. McLaren cuts it back. Derek McInnes, good effort. Just too high from the United skipper.
That's a good shot from McInnes. He's unlucky, just leaning back a little bit. You watch it here, United putting Dundee under pressure because of the extra man. It's a good little set-up here. McInnes, one thing in his mind. He's unlucky, just rises too quick.
Enter Craig Burley for Dundee, the former Celtic and Chelsea and Derby County midfielder. United with the under-21s on Monday night scored. And this is first taste of the top team with Dundee.
I'm sure Craig will play centre midfield. Barry Smith could be the one playing left back now.
Yeah, that's the reshuffle. Barry Smith at left back. Burley into central midfield. And Dundee looking to turn the tide, at least in the second half, because United have had a good first 6 minutes since the restart.
They've certainly got a bit of momentum going now, United. It's important they keep it going. The fans will demand that.
Free kick given against Caballero as Ravanelli looked to play a Novo. But let's reflect again on some expert defending from 22-year-old Lee Mayer. Under all sorts of pressure here, there was some grappling going on, but he got the ball.
That's what we said, Rob, a full foot on the ball to make the clearance. Both players holding on to each other. It's a great tackle, great interception.
That takes the pressure off, and that's a disappointment for Wilson. Against the Kraken. Just the combination which brought about the first half penalty, which brought about the only goal so far.
Yeah, Dundee haven't started the second half. Haven't really passed the ball well so far, but an opportunity now.
Good pass from Ravanelli to Brady. Well judged. And Dundee have a free kick. Brady was held back.
That's a good decision from Mike McCurry again. I think he tried to play advantage. You'll see just a little pull here, but Gary Brady gets beyond Derek McInnes. The referee tries to play on, but when he sees there's no advantage, pulls the game back and awards a free kick.
Craig Burley wearing the legendary number 32 for Dundee. It's his age as well, which will be delighted that I reminded you of that. Brady way over the ball, Caballero just behind, Burley there as well. And it's Lee Wilkie to strike. Deflected, corner kick.
Well, a bit lucky there, Big Lee. I don't think Milner was ever going to trouble Paul Gallagher. You can see the smile on his face. He realises he gets a little break here, saves embarrassment.
I think it would only have troubled Paul Gallagher had he been standing at the corner flag. But they do have the corner. Brady with the hand signals and the delivery. Wilkie with the header down. Novo's there. Ravanelli almost there. Dundee United desperately trying to get it clear. It's Ravanelli! It's not far away. That's a great effort from the veteran Italian.
I tell you, Rob, it's a great effort, but he should have passed it. Watch Lee Mayr's position. As Ravanelli picks this ball up, it just slips him in a yard. Lee Mayr would have been right through the goalkeeper. That would have been the best option. That would have been the best opportunity. But as strikers often do, only one thing in their mind: I'm going to try and score.
Yeah, just trying to remember the number of times you laid it off in that sort of position.
I'll try and think you one.
Check Dundee United going to make a change.
Yeah, Ian McCall decided to bring on Barry Robson. I'm not quite sure who'll be coming off at this stage, Rob, but he's going to have a little talk with him in a moment or two. Just call him back from the warm-up. Tommy gets top off, so Robson coming on.
That's a good header from Jim McIntyre. Knocks it down for Andy McLaren. On the overlap, Jim Patterson. And that's a good header from Lee Mayer. Got in front of Jim McIntyre. Mark Wilson. Craig Easton. Good touches. Andy McLaren had the chance. After good skill from Craig Easton, good set-up work.
That's another half chance. The one thing about the second half, United are starting to get first with the ball inside the Dundee box. McLaren first at that time. Just can't keep it down again, can't trouble the goalkeeper. But better from United. More aggression about their play.
And that will please the manager, who was threatening to fill up that notebook with scribbles the way he was going. Barry Robson there standing by. McCracken's header. Good pass from Derek McInnes. Patterson against Mackay. Patterson's cross! Jim McIntyre squares the game. A perfectly placed header, and it's 1-1 at Tannadice, and you can't say the goal's not been coming.
It's been coming, Rob. We said recently United were starting to win balls inside the Dundee box, and Jim Patterson does well here. This is his weaker foot, his right foot. But McIntyre's first across gets here before Barry Smith, and it's a good header. There's a lot of work to be done. He gets it low, he gets it down right in the corner. As the Peroni's got no chance of reaching it.
All about placement here. Didn't need power, just needed the contact. In fact, that may even have spun up off his shoulder and in off the inside of the post. And, well, Martin O'Neill, you better pick up your game, because that was some leap from Ian McCall. Dundee United with their tails up now. And they have a free kick.
With Jim Patterson again down that left-hand side. Great play from the young wing-back going forward. Good refereeing again. The referee allowed the cross to get in the box, but pulled it back when he seen United didn't have an advantage.
Dundee might feel they could have killed the things off in the first half, but it's all back in the melting pot now. In from Andy McLaren, away by Lee Wilkie. McInnes miscued the shot, took a touch off McCracken on its way behind. Goal kick. Pressure off for the moment, and I think the goal has changed Ian McCall's thoughts about making a change, Chip.
Yeah, Barry Robson was coming on, no doubt about that, with some getting a little talk there, but the goal has changed it, and Barry, sit down again, son, put your top back on. You ain't going on at this stage.
Did you get like that when you were standing on the touchline? Did you make those ridiculous gestures?
No, once or twice. You always do it with dignity. I wonder, Rob, if it was Jim Patterson, he may have been the one coming off to replace Barry Robson. Robson sent a left-sided player. Jim Patterson in the last few minutes has shown the quality that we know he has.
Yeah, he's a real threat down that left-hand side. And it was his cross which was headed in by Jim McIntyre, or it might have been shouldered in. But he's not bothered.
No, it went in. They wouldn't be too concerned at all.
Ravanelli's touch to Caballero. And Dundee need to start all over again.
Well, it's a test of character now for Dundee. When you're in front, you play with lots of confidence, but now they have to fight their way back into the game.
Caballero, Ravanelli, Gallagher spills it, under pressure from his own defender, Chris Innes. Confusion between the pair, and he almost gifted Dundee a goal. Novo, trickery on the ball. Jittery defending from United. It's the first time they've been under pressure really in the second half.
He certainly got the break in front of goal there. Mix up between Paul Gallagher, not too happy with his defenders. He's obviously saying he was shouting for the ball, but this is a good ball in from Ravanelli. Goalkeeper comes for it. I think Chris Innes has got to go for it as well, to be fair on him. Can't take the chance. Best when they got it clear between them.
Goalkeeper's got to shout for that, Sandy, hasn't he?
Well, there's an awful lot of noise inside this stadium, Rob. Especially right in front of the goalkeeper.
Fabian Caballero threads the pass through to Novo. Quick feet, Nacho Novo. Dave Mackay, Gary Brady. Now with left back Barry Smith. It's Easton. Foul on Brady by Wilson.
There's still better play from United, Rob. The one thing they've done second half is they've closed Dundee down. They're not allowing the Dark Blues to play passes. They're getting tackles in and winning most of the 50-50s now.
Getting in about it.
Gave up 2 halves, is that?
I've never that one before. Gary Brady's free kick, missed by Wilkie. Did it take a touch on its way through? No is the answer. Goal kick. And the United fans still celebrating Jim McIntyre's equaliser. And it ended a spell of concerted pressure from United. And when you see this again, you can see that it wasn't the cleanest of headers. But, well, who cares what it goes in off? It's 1-1.
It was a combination of head and shoulder.
McLaren pressuring and might well have scored.
He's unlucky, Andy McLaren. I think he snatches at this one just at the end, but he does really well to create the opportunity for himself. While flick around Wilkie, he's looking for a penalty kick there. Maybe justifiably so, there's contact made. But Mike McCurry deciding no way.
It was a chance for Andy McLaren, who's scored 3 times already for his new team and his old team. Patterson and McIntyre, and suddenly Dundee United looking like a different team. Craig Easton committing the cardinal sin of forgetting to take the ball with him. And a free kick as he tried to atone for the error. Free kick for the challenge on Craig Burley.
I think Jim Duffy now has got to get more right his front three, Rob. We've lost Caballero and Ravanelli especially. Haven't seen him at all second half. Novo, we've seen little flashes. He needs to get more from his front players. They've got to hold the ball up, try and play United half again.
He does have Juan Sara on the bench, and that might be an option for him before this game is out. Sara, a Derby goal scorer before. Caballero away from Wilson, and well, that's not even a corner flag.
I'm not too sure if that's a cross-field pass or a shot. He was certainly thinking about the shot, rightly so. I've seen Caballero score some spectacular goals, but not that time.
Smith to Brady. Caballero. Brady against McInnes. Ah, the old shoulder charge. Remember them well.
There's no complaints here from Gary Brady, but I don't know if that's a free kick. I think you're allowed to go for the ball. I know you're going to criticise me again, but...
No, well, it was the way you played the game, certainly, but... Back from Meir to Speroni. Nice flick. On from Novo for Gavin Ray. Free kick is given against Gavin Ray. Well, I wonder...
Rob, there's no way that's a free kick.
Did he not just use his strength to hold on to the ball here?
That's exactly what he's done. He's got in front of Craig Easton. He's fighting hard to get there. They're both having a go at each other.
He's just shaking him off.
That's all he's done. It's a terrible finish eventually from Gavin Ray. The pressure's off the referee because he doesn't score, but they're both at it. They're both pushing at each other. And Ray's the stronger one. He wins that battle. They couldn't finish it off.
And just when we were wondering where Nacho Novo had disappeared to, he was heavily involved in the build-up to that. Jim McIntyre's cross, awkward for Barry Smith. Did well to clear. I think there's a boot line on the pitch.
Barry Smith's.
I think Barry only needs the one.
This is the right one.
Dundee United have really picked up the pace in the second half. And this man is a threat to Dundee. Patterson's cross. Mears header. Bounced in front of Billy Dodds. Caballero wasn't waiting. Mackay, Ray, Wilkie. From Novo to chase.
That's a different shot. That ball's played off. It's a header from Chris Innes. And Caballero, Ravanelli not there to support Novo, to put pressure on the United back players.
It was 1-1 when Messrs McCall and Duffy first went head-to-head in the last derby of last season. 1-1 so far here at Tannadice. Mark Wilson on the overlap. Sliced off the boot of Lee Mayer. It's a Dundee United corner. Celtic goalkeeper Rob Douglas, former Dundee keeper, watching this one. Current Dundee keeper, Julian Speroni. Andy McLaren's corner. There's the header from McCracken. And the shot from Alan Archibald, not far away.
It's a decent effort from the centre-back. But again, United winning the headers inside the Dundee box. There's one. Don't win that one, but they win this one as well. And eventually it falls to Archibald. He hits it just a fraction there, where I'm sure he could have kept it down. It's hit the ground, come up the way, and then he makes contact. But the United fans are much happier second half.
And Archibald would love his first Dundee United goal to come in the derby match. Let's be having you with your views about the game via the website, bbc.co.uk/SportsScotland. Text us as well, 07736 600 600. It was Dundee's first half. It's been Dundee United leading the way in the second. It's 1-1. Great anticipation from Mayer. Now Caballero with a chance to create. Overrun it. McCracken intercepted. Gavin Ray onto the loose ball. Gary Brady lofts it up for Ravanelli. It's Gavin Ray, shot blocked by McCracken. Dodge to Patterson. And plenty of space to run into. Good challenge, Craig Burley. Timed that well. Archibald probing at the Dundee defence. Flicked on by McIntyre. McLaren. That's good play from Gavin Ray. Went all the way there with Derek McInnes, who had made a good run into the Dundee box. Mark Wilson's cross. Now Craig Easton. Miscue. And Ravanelli has it. Are going these Dundee derbies when you're 34, knocking on 35. McInnes into the area. And big take from Speroni. He's very quick off his line.
I tell you, Rob,
the Argentinian.
I tell you, Rob, the pace of this game. Everyone should be tired. There's a lot of tired legs out there now. Both teams having a real go, end-to-end stuff. Tremendous tempo to the match.
Dangerous pass attempted by Billy Dodds. Gavin Ray intercepts. Craig Burley just behind him, and Gavin Ray indicating that he'll be coming off injured, and he's going to be out of the derby. Looks like a hamstring possibly. Caballero's cross deflected off the crossbar. So close to a freakish second goal for Dundee. In goes Lee Wilkie. What a challenge that was. Brady into the box. Offside against Caballero.
This is a cross from Fabian Caballero. Gets a deflection off the United defender. And it could have went anywhere, but United do well second half. Defending as well as attacking inside their own box. First with the ball as it comes out. You feel like if that had been the first half, it would have been a Blue Jays on the rebound.
Well, Gavin Ray is still on the pitch, but he's immobile. That's a free kick. A high boot from Andy McLaren against Lee Mayer. But the big problem for Dundee at the moment is Gavin Ray, the Scotland midfielder, who indicated to the technical area that his game was over. Chick, what's happening down there?
I think the change is going to be Fotheringham just coming on. They're just discussing it down here at the moment. Obviously, Gavin Ray is a hamstring problem he's got, Rob. We're just getting this confirmed in a moment. Yeah, I think it's Fotheringham who's going to come on for him. Mark Fotheringham.
Dundee born and bred, former Celtic player, and that's a big blow to Dundee. No Nemzati straight from kick-off. They've lost Hernandez with knee trouble, and now Gavin Ray with a hamstring injury. And Dundee United will feel that things are turning their way.
You're right, Rob. Gavin Ray's for an excellent game today, up and down the field, defending well, creating opportunities going forward.
So that's Dundee. What about United, Chick?
Yeah, well, there's going to be a change for United as well. Poor Barry Robson, who's gone on a few moments ago. He's been blanked in favour of Owen Coyle. He's going to be introduced to try and snatch the winning goal for United. Coach, of course, here at Tannadice as well, and he's going to come on and be given the chance to try and snatch what would be a glorious. Would it be the winner? Don't know, anything could happen yet.
Don't speak too soon.
I think it may be Billy Dodds that will walk off.
McInnes threading a pass through. Wilkie is the man in the way for Dundee, forcing it clear. Cracked to McIntyre and hammered away by Mayer. It's up there to be won, this match. All square at the moment. Jim Patterson's cross. Jim McIntyre moving in again. He's menacing in the air. Times his leap so well.
Great challenge though from Lee Mayer.
Nacho Novo, Dundee's goal scorer. Gets away from David McCracken, and that same combination again inside the penalty box. Novo takes a tumble, no penalty this time.
No, and the referee was right again, certainly not a penalty kick, but Novo showed his threat. That was a late one.
Yeah, late by McIntyre on Mayer, and I'll be surprised if Mike McCurry isn't reaching into his pocket, but he's not.
I don't think the game's been nasty at all, Rob. It's been very competitive, but not nasty.
Smith's free kick is a major disappointment for the skipper.
That's a poor goal from Barry Smith.
Just about last chance if you want to take part in the man of the match competition. Who do you reckon? Lots of good performance for Dundee in the first half. Dundee United have been in the ascendancy since their turnaround.
I'll tell you what, Rob, I think I'll let you pick the one this week.
Well, not normally.
No, you don't.
I'm not taking responsibility. David McCracken. Caught late by Ravanelli, but nothing much malicious about it.
Just a tired one there from Ravanelli, Rob. Jim Duffy's only got one option left, substitution-wise.
Check, Owen Coyle's going to get cold down there. I'm a bit worried about him.
Sorry, I've got my flying jacket with me. I'll give him a wee cuddle.
It's the last thing he wants. Andy McLaren's cross. Craig Easton's header. And again Eastland. Patterson evades the challenge of Burley. Barry Smith's header. And Dundee under just the sort of pressure which was affecting Dundee United in the first half. It was interesting to see Ian McCall and Owen Coyle together because they're just about the same age. Ian McCall has just turned 38, Owen Coyle is 37. The difference is Owen Coyle still plays and still knows how to score goals. When he signed him, Ian McCall said he'll be coaching the youngsters at Tannadice, but he'll also be hanging around on the bench, and I'll pop him on for the final 20 minutes and see if he can make the difference, and he wouldn't put too much money against him. It is to Wilson. Route one for Jim McIntyre. It's good play from Dave Mackay. Great interception, and now he's trying to spark an attack for Dundee. Needs some help though.
Rob, I'm just thinking there, watching Dave Mackay as he went forward. He had nobody to play a pass to. Naturally, Noble ran away from him, leaving him no option whatsoever.
Dundee look like they've run out of steam, Sandy.
Well, I think the loss of influential players like Namzadze and obviously Hernandez going off affected their system as well. Barry Smith's presence protecting the back four obviously isn't there anymore. The injury problems start to catch up with them.
Good challenge, Burley on Coyle. 12,767 inside Tannadice for this first derby of the season. And no one taking their eyes off the pitch. Fabian Caballero. Great one into the penalty box. No penalty.
It's a corner kick. I'm not sure if there's contact made, but a good run from Caballero, driving towards the defenders. No, it's not a penalty, but it's not a corner kick either. It should have been a goal kick. It's tiredness as much as anything else.
Yeah.
But better from Caballero. Well, United, Rob, are having so much possession there. You still feel with the quality Dundee have up front, they're still very dangerous.
Gary Brady with the short corner. Mark Fotheringham plays it in. Ravanelli got a touch. And how would it be for him to win the first derby he plays in and to score the winning goal?
This is a great ball from Fotheringham. The goalkeeper's coming, made a mistake coming, luckily got away with it. The ball hit the off on more than a save. You see it there, watch Paul Gallagher moving, realises he's not going to get there.
Doesn't matter how you stop them, Sandy.
Yep. Yeah, well, got the break, so credit to him.
A grey hair of Fabrizio Ravanelli, but he's been grey for quite some considerable time. Might have been born grey, actually. And what a career he's had. Paul Gallagher was outstanding at Aberdeen last weekend. According to his manager, Ian McCall says it's the best game he's played since McCall took charge. Not just in terms of terrific saves, he didn't have too many of those to make against Aberdeen, but his all-round assurance and command of the goal mouth. And it looks as if Gallagher has learnt something from his time on the sidelines when Tony Bullock was brought in.
You're right, Rob. He's still very young, Gallagher, especially in goalkeeping terms. And the one thing about him is very, very talented. Not quite as good as his dad, I keep saying that, but he really is. He's got the potential to be a first-class goalkeeper for a long time to come.
Yeah, his dad, Jim Gallagher, knocked up some number of games, didn't he? Kilmarnock Celtic live next weekend, Saturday, 12:30 kick-off. Join us from 12:10. And of course on Sports Scene results later in the day, all the other Saturday Premier League goals. Mark Wilson, Jim McIntyre, right into the danger area. Good turn from McIntyre, gives himself some time. There's Jim Patterson and Lee Wilkie. Lee Wilkie is going to be an important man for Dundee in the closing stages. In from McInnes. Danger over for Dundee. Nearly 78 minutes on the clock. Nacho Novo's first half penalty Jim McIntyre's second half equaliser, all square. Mark Fotheringham, the substitutes, keeps possession well, strong on the ball, and powerful, riding through the challenges. Still Fotheringham! Ravanelli was facing the wrong way, and Paul Gallagher saves from Nacho Novo. Here's Gary Brady! David McCracken in the way of Brady's shot. A flurry of action inside the Dundee United penalty box. Somehow they survived that.
Incredible play inside the United box. Fotheringham does exceptionally well here. Tries to pick out a player, tries to find Ravanelli. Ravanelli doesn't really see the ball, but that's a good shot from Nolan. What a save, and a great reaction from the goalkeeper second time round. Gary Brady there, and a bounce off the head. Good defending.
Another good header in defence for Dundee from Lee Mayer, under pressure from McIntyre. Good running from Gary Brady, but lack of reinforcements there, lack of options for him. Ended up running into trouble. The match flowing from one end to the other. Owen Coyle leaves it to Andy McLaren. Straight at Julian Speroni with the shot. Jim Patterson's reverse pass intended for Jim McIntyre. Mayer read it well. Well, it's that stage of the game, isn't it, for Ian McCall and for Jim Duffy and the players. You don't want to lose it, but you'd love to win it.
That's right. It's been a great second half. I think you give McCall and Gordon Chisholm credit for revitalising the team at half-time. Second half will be much better.
Only lost one of their last 6, United. But Mark Wilson disappointed with that cross.
Rob, I don't know if we're going to get a winner or not today, but it's been a tremendous game. Both sets of players deserve lots of credit, going for it right from the start. Dundee, better team first half, but United second half have really shown great character to get back in the game.
Jim Duffy, 15 months at the helm at Dundee in his 60 games so far. 122, lost 21. It doesn't sound spectacular, but what progress he's made. When you think of a cup final appearance at the end of last season, back into Europe after such a long absence, and a team which must have high hopes of finishing best of the rest out with the old firm. They look to be head-to-head with Hearts for that honour. And if Dundee can win this, they go back into third place. The way things are at the moment, Hearts will stay there. Long ball from Wilkie and offside against Nacho Novo. Bangs the ball down in disgust. Fortunately for him, Mike McCurry was looking the other way.
It's silly from Nacho Novo. He's well offside. Started too early.
But Mike McCurry is going to take some action. It's a yellow card for Andy McLaren.
That was a wild clash between McLaren and Lee Wilkie a few minutes ago, Rob.
He should pick smaller opponents.
He should do. I tell you what, Rob, when you look at that, he's onside.
Yeah.
That just shows you how hard it is for linesmen at times.
Well, if Andy McLaren thought he was going to get the benefit of the doubt there, no chance. Yellow for McLaren. And, well, Nacho Novo's threat coped with there by Dundee United, but it says much for his pace and timing of his runs that he looked to be offside a few moments ago, but clearly from our replays wasn't.
He's very quick, Rob. He was away nice and early, but stayed onside. Nacho Novo, he's been the one second half that still caused United problems. That great save from Gallagher just a few minutes ago.
Don't put the kettle on quite yet. We've got 10 minutes left here, I would imagine, when stoppage time is added. And expect more excitement. Archibald's pass. And Jim McIntyre Turned that out of play, breakdown in communication, but it's he who got the goal which made it 1-1. And it's he who typifies the renewed determination about United since the half-time interval.
Well, the United fans are happy, Rob, and that sums up the spirit they're showing second half. Supporters, if they see effort and commitment and desire to do well for their team, then they can't ask for much more.
Wilkie's header. Free kick given against him. The challenge was on McIntyre. Doesn't really need to jump illegally, Lee Wilkie, as he's off to a fatal start at about 6-4. Now, what can United make of this? Jim Patterson with the free kick. The downward header from Chris Innes. Played away by Fotheringham to Novo. The pass deflected away from Caballero. And hammered out by Archibald.
Not under pressure there, Al Archibald. Maybe I took a touch and played a pass.
Good skill again from Novo, away from McInnes and McLaren. Craig Burley. Quiet presence in central midfield for Dundee. Ravanelli chips the ball in. No danger for Dundee United. David McCracken can sprint clear with the ball. That's a great challenge from Lee Wilkie, in fact. And somebody. And a poor ball into the box from Dave Mackay. Andy McLaren. And through McInnes to Easton. Jim Patterson relishing the opportunity to have a run at Dave Mackay. Lost his footing. Fotheringham teaming up with Mackay. Back it comes. Owen Coyle. Early ball in from Patterson. That was McLaren. Smith heads it straight back to him. Matt Wilson gets clear of Caballero. Lemire heads it away. Archibald came sliding in, so did Ravanelli. The free kick goes against the Dundee striker.
Just a late tackle there from Ravanelli. Conversation between Owen Coyle and Ravanelli.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Without the aid of an interpreter.
Just a fraction late there, the Italian.
No, Ravanelli's easy to understand, it's just Coyle. To score now, you would imagine, would be to win the game. With more than 86 minutes gone. Derek McInnes over the ball. Alan Archibald lining it up. Came back off Fabian Caballero. That would have stung. Kraken to Innes. Back from McIntyre to Chris Innes. Well, what a waste. He got himself into a great position there.
He did, Chris Innes. Really no right to be in that position. Up for the earlier free kick. He gets the break of the ball when it falls in there, but just put it right in the United fans.
Tiredness does take over in the closing stages, though, especially a game like this when the pace is so great. That's a good cutout. Ravanelli trying to play in Novo.
I tell you, Rob, it was a vital one. Novo was away.
Juan Sara is going to come on for Dundee for the last few minutes. Jim Patterson's cross. And there was an opportunity. In at the back post was Jim McIntyre.
It's a corner kick, Rob. It's a good ball in again from the left-hand side from United. McIntyre attacking the ball exceptionally well. Embarrassment, just getting a touch.
And Dundee United can't say there haven't been chances. That was another one for Craig Easton. And he knows it.
Rob, I can't believe the pace of this game. Can't get time to finish a statement. Easton unlucky that time.
This is the one from Craig Easton, the Folkestone edge of the box. Snatches a little bit. If he just takes a bobble, actually bounces up a little bit. That's why it's so high into the stand. Fabrizio Ravanelli's first Dundee derby is finished. And he's shown plenty as the veteran Italian, and he's replaced by Juan Sara. Jim McIntyre to Jim Patterson on his right foot. Julian Speroni launches it. Lovely touch from Nacho Novo. And good covering from Alan Archibald.
He's unlucky there, Nacho Novo. Great first touch.
The tangerine shirts pouring into the box for Jim Patterson's cross. It's flicked away from Andy McLaren by Barry Smith. Mark Wilson's cross, Owen Coyle's header.
He's
just too high.
He's unlucky, Owen Coyle. First of the ball again inside the Dundee box. That's a decent ball in, and Owen does it so well. Coming just a bit late, but using his body strength to win the ball in the air. He can't go over enough to get it on target.
He does it so well, and Ian McCall knows it. He's well capable of scoring from those sort of positions. He's done it a million times before, Owen Coyle. Nearly 90 minutes played as Lee Mayer clears, and 2 to be added. It's been some game, hasn't it?
It's been incredible, Rob. Thoroughly enjoyed it. We thought it would be, but both sets of players. I'm obviously going to pick a man of the match. I've actually picked it, I'll tell you in a second, but every single player out there deserves credit today.
You better tell me quickly or we're finished.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll go for the end, Rob. It's an overall performance, first half, second half. I've got to go for that man there, Nacho Novo. I think he's been a constant menace to the Dundee United defenders. Second half, Dundee haven't played as well as first, but he's still been a real threat, bringing the best out of Paul Gallagher. He's my banker, Scotland man of the match.
£100,000 well spent. That came off Mike McCarry, and again. And you get the feeling at the moment both sides more concerned with not losing and with winning.
Well, I'll tell you what, Rob, I'm not too sure of that. United are certainly going forward. They're desperate to get the result. And if you give Dundee a chance, a decent bit of possession, they'll try and get a goal as well.
Everyone wants the bragging rights in Dundee. If you can win this one, you can gloat for the next couple of months until the next derby comes along. But it looks as if this one's going to finish all square with just about 30 seconds left. Will it be a mistake, though, or will it be a moment of magic that gives one of these two the edge? Andy McLaren giving it his best shot. He's been perpetual motion for Dundee United, and there really should be little doubt that he's done everything required of winning himself an extension to his short-term deal.
Yeah, he's played very well. I tell you, Rob, at this moment in time, nobody deserves to lose this game.
Full time at Tannadice. The spoils are shared between the great rivals. Nacho Novo gave Dundee the start they were looking for with a first half penalty. He, having been fouled by David McCracken, got himself back on his feet and stroked home the kick, sending Paul Gallagher the wrong way. His 12th goal of the season, and he was a thorn in the flesh for United all the way through. But United were the better team in the second half and deserved to take something from this. They've lost only once in 7 games now. Jim McIntyre's header from Jim Patterson's cross spun up off his head and shoulder and in off the inside of the post to beat Julian Speroni. Fabrizio Ravanelli added some touches of true class to this and he, as the games go by, will be more and more of an influence in Jim Duffy's team. Lee Wilkie and Lee Mayer were strong in defence for Dundee. Jim Duffy applauds his players off the pitch as the players head down the tunnel. It's 1-1 between Dundee United and Dundee in the first derby of the season.
And a highly entertaining Dundee derby it was, and many of you texting and emailing us to say so. A very entertaining 90 minutes. It finishes 1-1, and I think that's probably in the end just about right. Dundee certainly had the edge in the first half, but United probably the better of an all-action second half. But the game played at terrific pace, no shortage of skill, every player giving his all, and it finishes Dundee United 1, Dundee 1, and that whets the appetite for more, doesn't it? But United certainly recovering after a rocky start to the season. Dundee full of class, clearly one of the better sides in the country on current form. Nacho Novo is adjudged the man of the match. He, alongside Craig Burley, are with Chick.
Nacho, that was a tremendous entertainment. You must have enjoyed that, did you?
Yeah, it's enjoy, you know, but very disappointed, you know. One match is 1-0 win, for win, no, for me. But in the second half it's okay, you know. It's a score and disappointed, you know.
The Dundee United fans obviously thought it was not a penalty kick. You were sure it was, eh?
I don't know. I don't know. It's eye contact, you know, and in the pitch.
And you were very calm, of course, when you took the penalty kick itself.
Yeah, it's eye for me. It's, you know, in this moment, it's a penalty, you know. But I don't know. It's a goal and it's important. You know?
Now, tell me about these silver boots. I believe you. I heard the story. You sleep with them. This can't be true.
No, not true. Not true.
You don't go to your bed with your boots on.
Eh?
You do not go to bed with wearing your boots.
No, no chance. No.
But they're very special. They seem to be scoring goals for you and enjoying this season.
No, I very enjoy. You know, it's last year. It's my first year in Premier League, and now it's more experience. You know, and I'm very happy. You know, here in Dundee.
Another man I think happy in Dundee, Craig Burley. First taste of a Dundee derby, first taste of a Dundee shirt. Enjoy it, Craig?
Well, obviously disappointed to lose the goal, and it wasn't an ideal time to come on because they played quite well in the second half. We were under the cosh, so you know, obviously I couldn't get forward. My job was just to come on and sit there, and you know, they put us under a bit of pressure, but we've got some talented players up front, and we could have nicked one in the end.
It was a classic game of two halves, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought we played ever so well in the first half, but obviously Ian McCall's said something to them in the second half. We've obviously got an injury to Hernandez. I've had to come on, and you know, they were probably in the ascendancy second half, throwing balls in the box. It was unfortunate, you know, but we still created one or two chances, but disappointed not to get 3 points.
So how far away are you from full match fitness?
Well, I'm obviously not ready, otherwise, you know, obviously that's why I wasn't playing today, and the manager still feels I need some games, so we've got a game against Clyde. Hopefully I might get a game in that, but it's always nice to get first team action rather than playing in under-21s.
And what was good today was, Craig, that we proved that there is life beyond the old firm in the Scottish game.
I think we certainly can only speak for our club. We've got a lot of talented players at Dundee, and that's why we've had a good run of results of late, and we hope to keep that going, but we've got some good quality players here.
It's definitely a job for you at this club. I'll tell you what it is, if to hand the man of the match champagne over to Nacho Novo. Well done, Nacho. Cheers. Thanks, guys. Well done.
The man who goes to bed with his boots on, I don't think so. 1-1 finishes then. Nacho Novo, the man of the match. Congratulations to our three competition winners. There they are. James Wilson from Gourock, Joe Reid from Dundee, and Gary Evans from Kilmarnock will win the various prizes from the Bank of Scotland. They all went for Nacho Novo, who was just one of, I would suggest, maybe not quite 22 men of the match, but close to it, Bobby. It was a smashing game,
I think it was hard
to
pick a man of the match out of that lot, because everybody gave everything they've got. The commitment was there, and for everybody to see, and both teams were setting about to try and win the game. But to actually identify one individual out of the 22 players was difficult.
It was just a typically entertaining Scottish derby, played at 100 miles an hour with no shortage of skill, Gordon.
That's right. Normally what happens is you look forward to a game and you're disappointed, and quite often you know, it just doesn't live up to expectation. That one did. I thought it was a terrific game. I thought the very fact it turned as well made it exciting. The fact that you saw one team dominating it in the first half, Dundee, looking a very good side, having a lead, and you're thinking, well, they're going to go out in the second half and do the same again. And Dundee United, they must have got a real boost from what happened just before half-time, the little flurry they had. Ian McCall's obviously had a word with him and changed one or two things about. But it was a different Dundee United in the second half, and I thought they were good value for it, and possibly even could have won it in the end. I mean, a draw, they'd probably say, was a fair result, but Dundee United, having the better of the second half, will be disappointed that they didn't go on to win that.
The goal for Dundee in the first half, of course, had an element of controversy about it, not least here in the studio, where we couldn't quite agree as whether this actually was a penalty kick or not, but the only decision that mattered was Mike McCurry's. He said it was, and Nacho Novo sticks it away. We're watching this, and it's still a tough one for the referee to call, especially since the player in between himself and Novo, isn't it, Bobby?
Well, Nacho Novo says after the game he wasn't too sure if it was a penalty himself, and he was the one impeded, so if he can't tell it's a penalty or not, it's very difficult for a referee to make that decision. But I think McCurry has given an honest shout there, and Dundee have got the benefit of that, and they've scored their goal.
And at 1-0 up, and they probably looked favourites to add to that. During a first half they dominated Gordon, but as you say, United a different story in the second half, and that combination of Jim Patterson and Jim McIntyre paid dividends. We got an early hint of the danger they could present, couldn't we, early on in the half?
They did. They served notice that this would be a dangerous area, and I thought in the second half that they used Patterson well on that left side. He did tremendously at times getting crosses in. That's a difficult angle to get a cross in from, and to get it into the centre of the goals when he's being closed down. There's no room for him, and he gets a cross in. Now, what happened from there was that if you see the actual goal, Dave Mackay reads that situation, and we'll see what happens this time. He makes sure that he doesn't get on his left foot. Look, he shuts off the line, but what happens? He comes into his right and delivers a good ball with his right foot. Might have come off his shoulder, I think it did, but that just shows you that Patterson, had the nous and just to come in on the right foot, and the ability to do it as well.
The first header was actually a cleaner header, Bobby, wasn't it? But this was the one that was the goal.
Yeah, you'd have thought out of the two chances, the first opportunity was the best one for him, Big Jim, to score. He's got across his marker, and his headers went straight into Speroni's hands in the first effort, and if he'd have got it down at all, it would have troubled him more. But he's got across his defender again there, and if it's a head-shoulder combination, it's running past the goalkeeper, and he struggled there.
And the ball ends up in the back of the net. 1-1 it was, and then it really was, it's the old cliche, it was end-to-end stuff from that point on, and both sides had their chances. Paul Gallagher had, I suppose what actually got in really is a triple save, Gordon, here.
It is really, I mean, this was Dundee weren't as good in the second half at all in terms of getting anything going for themselves, but once or twice it just didn't fall for them, but that was two saves, and eventually gets it away here, and then the ball flying in, into the box, and Dundee putting a bit of pressure on there. But I just thought at this stage it just didn't fall for Dundee. I mean, there was goal-mouth action, but it just didn't quite fall for them.
Gallagher does well. It was.
There was also one that hit the bar as well. Remember, when it came down.
The Caballero one.
Yes,
yeah.
And there was another cross came in. He collided with the defender, and the ball broke free, and it didn't break for Ravenel either. So they got a few breaks in the second half, Dundee United as well, but I think thoroughly deserved to come back in the game.
1-1 then at Tannadice this afternoon. Here's the United manager, Ian McCall.
Ian, what kind of mood did I find you in?
I'm very proud. I mean, I thought the players showed that they reckoned Dundee United is a great football club, and it shone through in the second half. I felt the first half an hour Dundee battered, there's no doubt about that. Last 50 minutes we got back into it. Derek McInnes started going the ball. In the second half I thought to a man we were outstanding, and particularly Derek McInnes I thought ran the game. He was immense.
Yeah, there was a great spirit about your team, wasn't there?
Well, all my teams are going to have that. If you don't have that, you won't play in my teams. I had Clyde Bank, Air Jonians, Falkers. So we're gutted we didn't win the game, because the second half was ours, but probably over the whole game, Duff and me will be happy with a point.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have a look at the goalie and underline just, we talked about that spirit there, but the whole build up to the goal.
Jim Patterson, who started poorly but came on, they had a storming second half. Did he cross it with his right foot, did he?
He did.
Yeah, good ball in, and Jim McIntyre, great header. With that many crosses in the box in the second half, and didn't quite get the end product, But Jim's been waiting to score for weeks now, and he's been doing really well, and it's a great header and a great finish, gets across the defender.
And I seem to remember one of the great celebrations from you now. I think Martin O'Neill's the highest jumper when Celtic scored. I think you just got above him there.
Well, Martin's a bit older than me, isn't he? So, well, we're pleased. I mean, we've only been beaten once in 7 games now, and we've got to bring pride back to Dundee United, and we hope that the people that were watching can see that the players are now playing for the jersey, and they can come back and support us.
Yeah, that's what I said to you before the game. In a sense, a kind of milestone for you. We can mark how far you're coming along the road, and you are going somewhere, aren't you?
Well, I mean, I think the milestone's been the last 3 or 4 weeks. I've noticed a change around the club, and the atmosphere's better, and we're getting through to the players about what I expect and what I demand, and because we have got an awful lot of good players. I mean, a lot of players never played today, good players. And when you see the effort Dodds puts in at 34 running about the pitch here, I mean, he's knackered when he comes off. So we're pleased but disappointed we didn't win the game.
Yeah, and even on, you talk about 30-something, even on Coyle, the contribution that has
Well,
10 years.
he nearly scored at the end of my header, you know, typical Coyle, but it wasn't to be, but it was, there's 2 more derbies, well hopefully 3 more derbies this season.
And the one thing underlined, I said this to Craig Burley earlier on, was there's life beyond the old firm in Scottish football. We saw that today.
Well, you saw the atmosphere. It must have been a great game for people watching. I thought the atmosphere in the second half was fantastic. Dundee fans did themselves proud, but our fans in the second half were absolutely outstanding. So.
Good man, thanks a lot, Ian.
Thanks, Chuck.
Ian McCall there. Good to see the text coming through from those of you who've obviously clearly enjoyed the game. It was a cracking match. A lot of texts as well, Gordon, suggesting that Nacho Novo should be a Rangers or a Celtic player. This is texts and emails from Rangers and Celtic fans, I hasten to add.
Trying to sell him already.
Yeah.
So he's doing well at Dundee. I mean, I'm not so sure. I think he's got a lot to offer in terms of pace-wise and all that, good ability. He's always looking to get in behind defences, and these kind of players are hard to find. He probably could do a job at Rangers or Celtic, but you know, at the moment he's a Dundee player, but I hadn't really thought about that. But I mean, they've taken some players from down before. Rangers when took Caniggia from there, obviously. Maybe Ravanelli will be their next signing of that ilk, isn't it? But I think Novo probably could do a good job there. And he's having a terrific season. He's had a terrific start to the season, he really has. Let's just take a look at the Bank of Scotland Premier League table then. No positional changes for either. They're both taking a point today. Dundee stay 4th, 2 points behind Hearts. Dundee United edge, well, a little closer to Kilmarnock. You wouldn't imagine, Bobby, in the form that United have shown today, that they'll be struggling at that end of the table for too much longer.
No, if they keep showing the same commitment and willingness to get forward and get players in the box, then they'll win more games than they'll lose. Very spirited performance from them, and they'll be delighted with that.
Looking at that table, though, daylight between Celtic and Rangers, that's maybe the most significant thing of the weekend, that 5-point margin opening up. Yes, it's probably come quicker than you can imagine. I didn't think the gap would open. I thought they would keep very, very close to each other all the way, but Celtic have got to get credit for that, because they went to Ibrox a few weeks ago, and you know, if they'd lost the game, they'd have gone 5 points, I think, behind Rangers that day, and they won the match and got a point ahead, sort of thing. So at the moment, you have to say that they've done the best. Rangers have dropped points. You would say at the moment that losing points to Motherwell and Livingston isn't that bad away from home, because these are 2 form teams, but from when you're the old firm, you can't afford to lose any points like that, and the gap grows, and Rangers now find themselves behind, so they can't afford to lose many more points in the coming weeks if Celtic are going to continue their run. Yeah. And as we always say, Bobby, and you're clearly involved in this, the gap between these two and the rest, I think, disappoints all of us. We'd all much prefer to see 1 or 2 clubs closer to the top, wouldn't we?
It would be great, but unfortunately we've got to play Rangers and Celtic every other week, and that starts to stretch the gap even further. If there was another 4 or 5 clubs in the league, then we'd be able to pick up more points and stay on their coattails a wee bit longer, that's for sure. But you find that in every league, Dougie. It doesn't matter how many teams are in the league. You look at every league throughout Europe, you'll find that there's 2 or 3 clubs stretching away from everybody else, and that's just the nature of the business.
Yeah. The rich are getting richer, the poor are perhaps getting poorer.
Of course they are, but I feel that everybody else can beat each other in this league out with the Old Firm, and that's what's actually happening every other week. But as I said, if there's another 4 or 5 clubs or 6 clubs in that league that are fodder for other people to pick up points and get a string of results together, like 6 or 7 wins in a trot, then you could stay close to Rangers Celtic and make it look more respectable. But as it stands just now, it doesn't look respectable. I think it'd be good, Dougie, if you know, although we accept that the Old Firm are better than everybody else and they're going to go away and fight for the league championship on their own as they do every season, if you had games like that today, we would enjoy watching the other teams playing just the same, because that was full of commitment, excitement, good football. Plenty of incidents, and if we see that outside it, I don't think there'd be too much of a complaint about our football as a whole. When you gave Rangers a very, very good match at Ibrox earlier in the season, but generally speaking, you're hoping to take someone from the Old Firm at home. It's very difficult away. You don't get much at Ibrox or Celtic for that, Bobby, do you? Very difficult at Ibrox and Parkhead. The support are right behind them, and they demand results, and that keeps the players going, and it pushes them on. And it's very difficult. The best opportunity you've got to get points off of Celtic and Rangers is at your own place, and we've not managed to pick up any points off of Celtic and Rangers, but we've given them games and we've kept it tight, and they've been close run affairs, and most teams can give Celtic and Rangers games nowadays. You see over the season, when Celtic even won the league the other year there, they were picking up 1-0s and they were scoring in the last couple of minutes of games, so we all can push them, but it's going that extra step and taking the points off them.
Well, Jim Duffy's side earned a point at Tannadice this afternoon. Here he is with Chick.
Jim, not like me to use a cliche, but a game of 2 halves, wasn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. You know, I think the first half we totally dominated it in terms of the football and the quality, and really the only thing I was disappointed at was 1-0 at half time. We knew that Dundee United would have to raise their game in the second half and have a real go But unfortunately, you know, we had to make changes with both Gavin and Fabrizio coming off later on, and we just had to move things around. Obviously, Honey Hernandez as well, so I think that upset with rhythm a little bit.
It was a hamstring injury with Gavin, was it? Was it serious?
Yeah, it's a hamstring that looks like it was going to keep him out, certainly for Wednesday's cup tie anyway, and obviously Honey as well. So we had to shuffle the pack a little bit, and I think United had a bit of the momentum at that time, and it certainly made us difficult. But in saying that, we still had 2 or 3 great chances in the second half to kill the game.
In 10 seconds, what kind of mood are you in? You do mixed emotions?
Yeah, I think that's right, mixed emotions. I think I'm just quite pleased we didn't lose the match ultimately, but very pleased with the attitude of the players in the first half performance.
You did that with 3 seconds to spare. Well done, Jim. Cheers.
Yeah, cracking Dundee derby this afternoon. Congratulations to John Robertson and everyone at Inverness Caley Thistle. They've won the first trophy of the season. Here's Charlie Mann's report on the Bells Cup final.
Caley Thistle are the Bells Cup winners 2003, the celebrated cup victory for Caley Thistle, their 9th name on the Challenge Cup, and David Bingham is the man who made it all possible. Man of the match, Bingham, was the guy who rose above everybody else, 12 minutes to go, and absolutely bulleted a header past Airdrie United goalkeeper from a great Stevie Hislop cross. Hislop then made it all secure, 2 minutes from time. Mazy run, great finish, 2-0 Caley Thistle. Airdrie had their moments. Jerome Varai might have scored late in the first half, but the second belonged to the Inverness side, with Barry Wilson having 2 great chances and hitting the bar. It will be a big night in Inverness tonight, and John Robertson's soaring managerial career has its first trophy. It may not be his last.
Yes, congratulations to Robbo, Inverness Caley Thistle, the Bells Cup winners. Let me give you a couple of scorelines from the Barclaycard Premiership before we leave you. It finished 1-1 at the Valley, Charlton 1, Arsenal 1. Half-time at White Hart Lane, 0-0 between Spurs and Middlesbrough, and there's Inverness's win at McDermott Park. Our next live match is next Saturday at lunchtime when we're down at Rugby Park for Kilmarnock against Celtic. 12:10 on there, a 12:30 kick-off, and then the results programme at 4:30, as always, with all the highlights of the afternoon's football. That's next weekend. So it's been another eventful weekend. Let me just reiterate again that the Hibs board today dismissed any speculation that our guest this afternoon, Bobby Williamson, is in any danger of losing his job as Hibs manager. And on top of that, Celtic have moved 5 points clear of Rangers at the top of the table. It's just been another quiet weekend in Scottish football. Been good to have Bobby and Gordon with us this afternoon. Thanks for your company. Bye for now.